And we are live. Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night with those guys. And as you know, Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys.
Those guys.
And this is where we talk about everything in the drone world and promote uses of drones. And if the weather is nice where you are, please let me know how the weather is where you are. And if you've been able to get out and fly your drones, please put it in the chat. Let me know how the weather is where you are and if you've been able to get out and fly your drones. Lawrence, the best co-host in live streams, how is it going on this wonderful Wednesday?
It's
Skies.
good. It's good. It's good. The sun is out. Life is good.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
I didn't complain more than 10 times today. Things are good. Going well. I'm just learning.
Not more than 10 times. Not more than 10 times.
Not more than 10 times. So life is good.
All right.
What's up with you?
I'm okay. I always keep the grass cut so I can see the snakes. But everything is good. I can't complain too much about anything. I've been the only thing is, I went to my situation as far as family structure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
well, I happen to be I wouldn't say guinea. I was going to say the word guinea pig because but I was I actually went down to the office and got what they call a deep cleaning
Okay.
of my teeth,
Okay.
and I found out I still don't have any cavities.
Okay. That's what's up. Be glad. Be very glad.
Although I got to do a better job of flossing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like how my teeth look after they did what they did.
Okay. I got you.
You mean that? You mean that wasn't tooth that was there? That was.
There wasn't a tooth. Yeah, I get it. It's we've become a morning show in Australia and an afternoon drive home show, which I appreciate. Which means people don't listen to the radio as much
No,
anymore. I guess when you're by yourself, you do.
we're in
But
the car at home.
Eldon, and on the way home, we have a few listeners that are CT Pirate, RJ's Ariel, Frank Rizzo. All those guys are on their way home from work. And they get to listen to us. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. I really didn't know that. I mean,
Yeah.
I know the time that we're on here on the north, on the East Coast, that this is the time that most people are getting off of work and traveling home and
It
stuff.
is true.
Yeah, that I know, but it is a tough time for people on this side. Yeah, but as far as on the other side of the country, that's like and that 3 hours behind us.
Yeah. So it's early afternoon over there. People are looking at their watches saying, damn, couple of more hours and I can go home. Right?
Yes, it's a rough spot for the live stream. It's got to be something that I don't know. And then I guess you just gotta like the information that you're getting.
I would hope these guys, they keep coming back. They support us. They supported us. Last week was our 6-year anniversary. For 6 years doing this strong,
Yeah.
And what's cool about it is 6 years ago I know a lot of drone pilots weren't even flying 6 years ago, and and
Name two.
it's a little bit of time there. Seriously,
You didn't hear me.
no, I didn't.
I said
What?
name two.
Name two what?
No,
Oh, you stupid.
no. You know what's funny about that? I remember when you remember how your parents always tell you about eating your food. There's kids out there that wish they had that, and that and,
Yeah.
and it's how there's always some comedian out there that that answer back to that, and that was one of them.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah,
It's time for this.
that's
It's
what
time
I
for this beard to come off or
you
get
ain't never
thinner.
won.
Yo, I broke a sweat yesterday, or one day it was hot, bro. I broke a sweat, and I was like, wait a minute, the beard has to come off.
You broke a sweat with just
Yes,
what?
yes. Here in New York, I was walking, bro. It was that hot. I had a light jacket
Hold on a
on. It
second. You
was
trying to tell me that the hair that you have on your face now,
no, that wasn't sweating. My head was sweating. But I'm like, okay, it's time to get rid of it. I could at least feel the light breeze that was there instead of the hair. I only grow it for the winter, to be honest.
shit, I rock all the time. This I'll take off.
Yeah, Eldon, send me that. Text me that link. Hey, Eldon's letting me know he's slowly working his way onto Instagram.
Oh, really?
Come
Okay.
on,
But
social media don't worry. Social media won't grab you like it's grabbed the billions of us. What
grab
makes you any
who?
different? Eldon, take off, lift and land.
Um,
He doesn't do the social media thing.
I hear
So
that. I'm
so
just
he
saying.
just told me he put a few pieces. So I'm telling him to text me so I can add them on
You
as the
said it's
kids
not
say.
gonna grab him like it's grab some people. I'm like, grab who?
Yeah, there are billions of people out there that can't put their phone down.
Anyway, who do we have with us in the house tonight, Lawrence? Because I see there's 11
Who
people
do we
watching.
have in the house with us? Hold on a second. I'm doing this digitally, or should I say analog style?
Hmm.
I'm actually writing it down.
Hmm.
Okay,
You know,
hold on.
I did want to
Um,
ask before you get started.
yeah,
They,
what's that?
from what I understand, is supposedly like this new list of live streams that's out there or it's on YouTube in the drone
Really,
community. Yeah,
really.
yeah. That's what
There's a list. There's a
there's a new list.
list.
Yeah,
Are we on it?
probably not. I don't know.
Wow, wow. That's okay. I got to shout out. Hold on, I got to shout out Scott
Yeah,
Jackrabbit because I can't make it to his stream all the time, and I hear he shouts us out all the time. So I got to shout out to Scott Jackrabbit FPV because he mentions us even when we're not there, which is cool, and I appreciate that.
you know what? Sometimes I'm out, and that's like usually like now, like spring ball is starting up. It's
Hmm.
hard for me to catch a lot of live streams that come on early
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, with you, pretty soon you guys will be going back to the field, right?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, Thursday this week you go back to the field. And when is the first game?
Hmm. I don't.
Okay, well,
I
I'm
don't worry
guessing you,
about. I don't worry about those things until I get the.
Dan the man.
Then was good.
All right, let's do roll call real quick. Now that
Yeah.
Dan's here,
Okay.
we
You
can
was waiting
blow
on
him.
Dan.
We can blow, yeah, right.
Oh,
Waiting on you, Dan. We can blow him up first. Big shout out real quick down in Florida, my man Dan. I fix shit. What's good, Dan? How are you? Hope all is well. I'm glad. Then we give a big shout out to Thomas Baker. I'm getting familiar with the names here. I'm starting to see people shout out to Thomas Baker. Eldon from the Bronx, take off, lift, and land. Shout out to him up in the Bronx, New York. Thank you for the support all the time. RJ's Ariel, who was on the FPV corner, along with
Oh,
Dan, I Fix It. Shout out to RJ's Ariel from Long Island, Strong Island. John Olson. What's up, John?
what's up,
Listening in the
John?
background, a few people are. Scott, FPV. Jackrabbit FPV. Shout out to him, of course.
What's up?
He's always here. Another name that I'm starting to see here a lot, Louisiana Helicam. Shout out to you. I hope all is well.
What's up?
Thanks for
What's good?
coming. Frank Rizzo, who we know is Jody. Shout out to him also. And one more person who's driving home from work, and that's CT Pirate. CT Pirate, RJ's Aerials, and one or two other people. I think maybe Brooklyn Jimmy's listening to the live stream. Shout out to him too. That's it. It was short tonight. It was short and sweet tonight.
Short. All right. Well, we got a few things to talk about tonight, you know. And
We promise to be held on. The views and opinions heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel and or in the chat. That's my disclaimer. We're cleared.
what?
In case I say something tonight that someone may not like.
Oh, okay. Because I promised to behave myself.
Yeah, right. Yeah, listen to this guy. You're going to behave yourself? Okay.
Yep.
All right. What's going on, man? Thank all of you guys for coming to Wednesday night with those guys. Guaranteed, my views and opinions are definitely my views and opinions. And if you don't like them, here's the thumb to sit on, and feel free to spin. Well, you can't use my thumb, but I'll put a digitally printed one there. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wednesday night with those guys.
You guys need help. I'm telling you, you guys need help. Seriously.
What's good, man? What's on the list?
Well, actually, what's good is I'm going to actually take a sip of my lemonade.
Is that hard lemonade, soft lemonade, or just lemonade? He's got to take another sip.
Soft.
Okay. All right, cool. I got you. Soft lemonade. I should have known. See, he said he was going to behave himself tonight, right? We got a couple of stories tonight that you guys may be interested
about
in.
nobody.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, there's a list.
I mean, there's some things that we're going to talk about tonight that you probably heard on the live stream, and there's other
Seriously,
things
yes.
about tonight that you won't hear on the live stream. But not the same. But I'm just saying because we talk about everything in the drone world, not just the drones that you might want to take out in the park and fly, or fly over the house and down the street and back. You know? I don't know.
Okay.
Well, anyway,
Hey, Lance.
There was some stuff that we spoke about last week. We talked about what was that? That Roku drone last week. We spoke about that.
Yeah, yes, I remember briefly.
Yeah, that was a little cool little toy drone. I'm waiting. I'm actually waiting to hear or to see Marcus do a review on that drone.
Okay, someone's going to get their hands on it. You're saying it's a matter of time.
Well, no. Well, Marcus usually gets a lot of those drones and does reviews on those. I was just wondering if he was going to get it to do a review.
Okay. All right. Let me pull up the chat because I can't see the chat. in
Oh,
this window.
sorry. You know,
Okay.
there was actually something that we did cover last week that came up again. I noticed, and it was in the in it was in the news
Excuse me.
as well.
Sorry.
Bless you. Yeah, bless you again.
I'm
Yeah.
done, man. Allergies.
That's what
Thank
it
you.
is.
Thank you. By
Oh.
midsummer, I'll be up to 7. That was just 3. I'm letting you know.
Yeah. Last week we had talked about it, and I see it's floating around again. Excuse me. And there was some stuff in on what's that on Drone XL. But it was a post from Jasper on April 24th, and it was speaking to the reference of the that what was that, the Mini 5 Pro.
Yeah.
I think you had that post, Lawrence,
Yeah. Yeah. I am.
and he had a leaked image on it.
Yes, right here. Here we go. I just had to put it where it should be.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was. Here we go. What I, yeah, Jasper goes, I'll tell you all about the Mavic 4 Pro in coming days, but let's appreciate this week's leaked image of the upcoming DJI Mini 5, spotted in the wild. Are you just excited about this as I am? We'll definitely buy this. Cheers,
Hmm.
Jasper. Now, I want to point out one thing, first of all. As you
What
notice, even though it is in the classic Mini style, the camera looks bigger and
does it?
it has ducks.
Well,
Or
that
should I say,
you can buy.
prot- or should I say protection for the prop protectors? But they
Well,
look like they're attached
honestly,
to the frame.
honestly, Lawrence, they had ducks for the all the other ones. You can purchase them if you wanted
Yeah,
them.
but now they're making the drones with them.
I'm not sure if they made this drone with it. I'm thinking that because they've always had them, for prop guards, as we might call it, for
Yeah,
all of the drones, even back to like the Phantom 3 days. But with that drone, I'm wondering if that's just not what that's just something they were testing, basically. You know, just took a picture of it. None of those pictures mean anything until they actually
until
mean
yeah,
something.
the
But I'm not saying
FCC.
that. But I'm not saying that you're wrong. You know, I'm not saying that you're wrong. But there was earlier post, if you remember, that everyone had saw this thing, and that was a fake, the fakety fake.
Yes, yes. Somebody had digitally altered this one.
Yeah, you remember
Um,
that fake one? But you see, that same guy that put out that fake one was
yeah,
the guy that produced the picture last week and a post last week that was out. You
yeah, I
remember that?
know. Now, here's the kicker. I said that that one looked like it had a bigger camera, and this one just happens to have 1 inch and
Hmm.
on for a sensor. And I did mention that there would be a possibility, and a few other people mentioned that there's
Hmm.
possibility the 5 could come out with a 1 inch sensor.
You think so?
I think so because of the other picture that was leaked. Well, and we'll get to that
Well,
picture later on.
there
But
was a picture back that Jasper League. I think back, what was it? I think it was December. The Jasper League. That one was, which is the same one that everybody else has leaked. You know.
yeah, now stop. If you can leave this right here, I want to point out if you see that is definitely not a 1/1/3 sensor. It looks like a 1 inch sensor, and the front also looks like it can handle adjustable ND filters.
I don't know. I mean, I just
I'm
look at
just saying from my first look.
I
From
look
my
at
first
all of
look,
those
that's what I
video
thought about.
drones to me, and they all look the same to me.
And here's something else you didn't notice. Those two little black spots.
After the Mini 2, All of
Yeah.
those minis look the same to me.
No, this one looks different.
Okay.
Put the picture back up. I'll show you in different ways.
Which one?
The one you just had up. This one right here. First of all, you have the 360 sensors on the outside, but those
Uh-huh.
two black dots on the inside.
Yeah, yeah.
So far, the last two drones they put out had some type of lidar, or supposedly the Mavic 4 has lidar, and the other one does. And that camera sensor is just bigger than that 1/1/3. You can physically see it.
Okay, if you like to believe that, but I mean, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying.
I'm putting a vote out there. Would you guys
I'm
like to
just
see a 1-inch sensor on the Mini?
well, from what I understand, and what Jasper's saying, they talking about somewhere like September or August, September with this drone. So
Hmm.
I
Right around, right around
hold
the
on,
beginning of school.
no, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess, yeah. I'm hoping it's earlier than September. When
Well,
like
you know what?
school starts in September here for the kids. Yeah.
Right, but what I'm expecting is, and this
Mhm.
is my honest opinion, seriously,
Mhm.
with the Mavic 4 coming out before this, there's going to be a lot of people are not going to get the Mavic 4, and DJI makes this very clear. So listen closely. If you got the money to get it, get it. But they're letting you know this camera is not for beginners. If you shoot in
Which one?
auto, you might as well get an Air 3S
Which
or
one?
an
Which
Air
one?
3.
Yeah, the Air 3 series. The Air series is the point
That
and
will
shoot.
become the number one seller now. The Air 3,
Yeah,
the Air
yeah,
3S,
because
the
it's
Mini.
a good platform, good size platform, and good camera, and it's just point and shoot. Basically, you just put a filter on. It's like,
Yeah,
you know,
see, Draymond.
even
Hey, Draymond, everyone would
even
like to have a 1-inch variable sensor, but it looks like a 1/2. I thought about that also. I did think about that also. But it's definitely bigger than the sensor that's been in the standard minis. But until we see more focused and a few more leaks, who the hell knows? You know how DJI does. They throw us guys a bone all the time. It's DJI fanboys. They throw you. How many times have they done it, Herman?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. When they introduced the Mavic 2 Pro, no one saw the Osmo
Yeah,
Pocket in the picture,
yeah.
right?
You're right. You're right.
They have a
But you
way
know,
of showing smoke and mirrors. They're like
mhm.
poof, a la peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
How many? Nowadays, that's all that's going to happen.
Yeah,
What do you
right.
want? How many?
Because if you buy that damn Mavic 4 Pro, you can be
Mhm.
eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for a minute. It was the ramen. Everyone was talking about they'd have to buy a
Peanut
case of
butter and
ramen.
jelly.
You remember, Herman?
Hold on. Peanut butter and jelly is expensive,
Yeah,
bro.
I know. But you
Ramen
remember
is
when
way
everyone.
cheaper.
Hold on. You remember when the Mavic 3 was coming out and everyone heard the price? And dudes
Hmm.
was talking about, yo, I already brought a case. I already brought a skid of fucking ramen because after buying that Mavic 3, that's what I'm going to be eating now. It's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Really? This joint's going to cost more. Peanut
Oh,
butter
yeah, I
and jelly.
know.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches cost more than ramen.
Who in the chat is going to get a Mavic 4? Who in the chat would love to see that Mini 5 come out? So they claim by the end before the year is out. But
Anyway,
who's going to get a Mavic 4? I'm letting you know right now, I am not. I'm waiting for the Mavic 4 standard to come out. It should be a little cheaper because if in order to get the Mavic 4 Pro, that means Herman would have to give me a raise. And I got a few of those last year, so yeah, go ahead.
wouldn't wouldn't a Mavic 4 standard
Big Matt.
wouldn't a Mavic 4 standard be a Mavic 3?
What happened?
You asking for
Oh, a Mavic 4 Classic.
a Mavic 4 Classic? Wouldn't
Yeah.
a Mavic 4 Classic just be a Mavic 3 Classic with a
I,
with, with a
no, no,
360
no, because you're
with a
stupid.
360 camera?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It would. It would. What's good, Big Mac? How are you? Steve, FTFO,
That,
how are you guys? And
that's really
Dreamer.
all it was. I mean, I didn't want to get into the specs of it, but I'm just saying that's from what I'm reading, that's basically what it would
Well,
be.
later on, we're going to get into the specs of the Mavic 4, but yeah, pretty much.
If they came up with a 4 Classic, that's pretty much what it would be.
If they get a they come out with a Mavic 4
It,
Classic,
it,
I will get one.
it
But
would just be a
I don't
Mavic.
see the 4 Pro in
Just be a
my
round
future.
Mavic 3 Classic.
What happened?
It would just be a round Mavic 3 Classic. Micro Four Thirds, Micro Four Thirds.
And with a vertical lens.
Really.
Yeah, with a lens that can go vertically.
I hope release date doesn't bust your bubble.
I'm not worried about it.
And find
Hey
out that
Corey, what's good?
the vertical shooting is not on the main is not on the 4/3 sense.
Listen, if you guys, Ronnie, what's good? If you guys haven't clicked the like button yet, please feel free to do so. It
But
costs nothing to tell
according,
somebody you like them.
according to your good old friends over at Drone DJ, is
Yeah.
Sheena and the rest of the crew. They have five. What was it? Five things that you should do before taking your drone out of storage.
Yeah, yeah. And this is for guys who do not fly all year round.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, where you live in the South and up
Uh-huh.
here in the North, I know people that don't fly when it gets cold. I
But
fly all year round.
but you know what, Lawrence? Truthfully speaking, I don't find that this list that they have is in order of what you should do,
I didn't
and
either. I
and the
didn't either.
only things that you should do. But I don't know if you feel like you know you know if you feel like giving them the list of it, I can do it if you want. I mean,
Yeah, I could. Well, this is the order that they gave it to us, and the first one says that when you bring your drone out of storage or you haven't flown for a few months, to check for firmware updates.
mhm.
Um, Now, like with Herman and I
Makes
both
sense.
agree, it's not in this exact order. What happened?
It makes sense, but that's not really the first thing I would do.
Right. And then the second thing that they have on the list is check for airspace changes, meaning you may be able to fly somewhere where you
Mhm.
weren't last year, or last year you were able to fly somewhere and now you can't. They change according to TFRs if there's a VIP in town or sports event going on. Then they go on and say the third one is remember, remote ID is a thing. If you're 250 class or below, you don't have to worry about remote ID. 250 class with extended battery and above, yes, you do. But make sure your remote ID is up to par and things like that. That's nothing major. But then they go on to say, take your drone for a test flight. That's number 4, right, Herman?
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
that's number 4.
While nothing may have happened to the drone while in storage, a new firmware update that they told you to do in the beginning may make
Mhm.
your drone act screwed up. So they say make sure when you take it for a test flight, you're in an area where there's no trees. Don't do it inside your house like millions of other people do. And the last one, like we said, I wouldn't agree in this order. Check your batteries for damage.
Yes.
Meaning,
Yeah.
a lot of
Now,
people have a habit of charging up 5 batteries and only burning 2, and then they
mhm.
take the other 2. They only take the other 3 batteries home. They let them sit there. What happens is if you do not use a battery that's been charged and it doesn't drain off at a decent rate, you can damage that battery, the cells, or they get puffy. Yeah, Herman. You remember
That
the
see,
Phantom
but
4?
that's the beauty of DJI's batteries because DJI's batteries will discharge
You
themselves.
missed the sponsor by 2 minutes.
Okay, they will discharge themselves to a storage point,
So a
but
shot in the drop.
we'll get to that sponsor and be right back.
Mm-hmm.
For a live stream that talks about everything in the drone world. Tune in every Wednesday night to Wednesday Night with those guys.
Yeah. So batteries. So the batteries, yeah, they will do a discharge. They'll never do it.
DJI batteries, you have to
Right.
specify.
Right. DJI batteries will never do a deep cell discharge, but they will discharge themselves down to a decent rate.
Good morning, Rob and Sue.
Um. Yeah. The constant doing that, yeah, will damage the battery. And in the I think that the batteries now have gotten to the point where they're much better than they have been in the past. The
Yeah.
batteries that, and I'm not saying this because I love the drone so much, but we're going to talk about it later on too. But the Phantom batteries were some of the best batteries because they didn't do that as much as the other batteries.
Right.
The earlier the Mavic series had problems with that more than any other battery.
Yes, I
Remember
remember.
the drop down batteries, those ones that clamp down like that? Or
Yes.
yeah, those were the ones that gave the most problems.
They would start to bloat, and what happened is because they popped down in the top of the drone, when they started to puff, sometimes the clip would come loose on one side, depending on how the battery was bloating. But you
Now
can tell if, huh?
the funny thing is when Phantom batteries would start to swell, they couldn't discharge from the drone.
When I do that, I always feel like I'm wasting a flight charge cycle. Believe it or not, you are. You did waste the
Yeah.
charge cycle because if you charged it, your average battery has 400 to maybe 550, 100% charges before it's supposed to drop down to 99%.
You know what?
Hopefully, by then you would have sold that drone and those batteries
You know
for a
what's
new
funny
one.
about that?
Huh.
Talking about that with the wasted battery, wasted flight. The when I first started flying drones,
For heat
I would
dissipation.
have put that battery in, and I'd be there like this. People passing by, I'm just flying the drone. You know what happened? I got conditioned to. What are you doing? Why? Why?
Yep. Yeah.
Why? So I
Hmm.
just
I feel for you because
I'll charge one or two batteries.
well, see, I've learned to fly a battery here and I'm out. Go to another spot, fly a battery, and I'm out because I don't have to burn 3 batteries looking at the Brooklyn Bridge. You understand what I'm saying? If I know I'm getting shots of the Brooklyn Bridge, like Big Matt and I, we hit Long Island City.
With one battery in one area. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I got what you're saying because that is what you do. But what I'm saying is that the sometimes when you get that, you remember the time when I first came out to Rockaway to the beach.
That was not a good experience. I remember that lady. Hey, Warren. Warren put hashtag why.
Yeah, everything that I answered this woman, she asked me the same question. Why?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Like,
I remember
so
that.
she goes, so why is a grown man playing with a toy? And that's because Jalen had a drone, a
Hmm.
Phantom. And she was like, well, if it's not a toy, then why does he have one?
Right. She couldn't understand that. What can what can you say? Little did she know. It was seriously, Herman answered questions for about a good 5, 6 minutes before she just walked away. I guess she ran out of questions or something.
She didn't. She run out of questions. It was the same question.
Yeah, I know.
Why?
Why? When Herman realized every time he answered, she would just ask, why? Oh, I want to say real quick a shout out to Sue in Australia. Sunday is her birthday, so an early
Okay,
happy
happy
birthday to
birthday.
Sue from Feet on the Ground's wife, Rob and Sue. Yeah, Lawrence, I brung my Inspire too and only used only one set and got all those shots. Exactly. We were in Long Island City. He had his Inspire 2. My boy Corey had his Air 2S, I think, and I had my Mavic 3. And we were out there. Now, we when we fly, we do burn a battery in more than one spot. We usually do. But that night we were hitting the other side of Long Island City.
Mm-hmm.
You hit one side here, then you hit one side there from different angles. Some guys fly, they go and they shoot from the same spot, and then they turn like this, and
Mm-hmm.
then they turn like that, and then they go. It depends. Everyone has their different way of flying.
So when you shoot Yankee Stadium, where do you fly?
When I shoot Yankee Stadium, where do I fly from? If I divulge that information, I'd have to terminate you. I'm just saying. During baseball season or non-baseball season. If it's non-baseball season,
Non-baseball season.
from a park nearby. From a
Baseball
park
season.
nearby. Okay.
Baseball
And
season.
if it's baseball season, I usually don't fly there unless there's no game. If there's a game that night or that weekend, I'm not flying there. I'll fly there on a day that I know there's no game.
Okay, that's how I
Because
go.
then you have all the Karens and the pixel peekers that are like, he's flying a stadium during baseball season, and I just pull up the metadata
You're
on the
warming
picture.
up.
Yeah, I pull up the metadata on the picture, say, no, that was on the day they weren't there.
You said there's a game there that day they're warming up.
Yeah, oh, please.
Well, you can. What you said you can't fly. What is it? An hour before the game?
No, they say an hour, but the FAA says 2 hours before the game
Before
and
the
two
game.
hours after the game. But we usually do it 4 hours before the game or 4 hours after a game, just to make sure.
But you know what, though, Lawrence? Some guys don't care.
I usually don't fly on game day, though.
Some guys don't care. They don't care.
True, that's true.
It's funny. You know how you get the fever for the flavor for something?
What do you mean?
Like when you first started flying drones.
I gave the disclaimer earlier. What happened?
Like when you first started flying drones.
Yeah. What about it?
Okay. Well, you remember Hank, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually met Hank through you, right? Because
Yes.
we went to
Yes.
we went to go. You took me to a spot to go fly drones, right?
Uh-huh.
And Hank saw us flying drones, and he said that he goes, "You guys fly drones?" He goes, "I'm like, yeah, we fly drones." He was like, "You guys, what do you guys do?" I said, "Well, we're both, you know, federally FAA certified, pilots. We
Right.
fly drones. So we just out here, just recreationally, just nothing doing, just flying around, checking out something, Right. So he says that because he has a business that he teaches people. Was that paddle surfing?
Paddleboard surfing.
Yes,
Yes, paddleboard surfing business.
So
where we were.
he takes people out on what's that? The Long Island, well, not Long Island,
Jamaica Bay.
Jamaica Bay, out in Jamaica Bay, right?
Yes, right under the Cross Bay Bridge, right by the Cross Bay.
He
Bridge.
said that they were supposed to be doing a story on him, and he wanted to know if he could hire us to
record them recording him
to record footage of his of what they're going to shoot at the news when the news comes. I'm like, the news? I'm like, oh, whatever. I mean, I can whatever you want us to shoot, we can shoot with the drone. I mean, if you're going to be out there in the water, we can put the drone up and catch you out there in the water. Keep the drone far enough away that it's safe for everybody and no big problem, no problem. So the he told us that was going to happen tomorrow, the next day.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I remember.
well, and we worked out a deal or something. You know, we worked out something, and to shoot. And when I got there the next day, the news was there, and what was that? I don't have that here.
It was actually New York One who was on. If you have Spectrum here in New York City, Spectrum Cable, that's their number one news station.
Okay.
That's their 24-hour news station. If you want to know something that's happening, put on New York One if you have the Spectrum service.
Oh, okay. That's how that goes. Okay, well, anyhow,
that's who they were. But they came. They did. What's funny? Herman went, and I was supposed to be there, but I had to work somewhere else. And Herman said, "Yo, I would go," and
so the guy,
believe it or not, that was those guys' Ariel's first job.
The guy from the news company, that was shooting them, he was going to shoot from the land and see how far his camera can get with them out there in the water. And he I told him I was going to capture, them out there in the water with the drone, and he was like, is the sound of the drone going to interfere with the mic because everybody is going to be mic'd up? And I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how, I don't have to get that close to everyone. Right. So I was like, you know what? I got one better for you. I want to try it out for the first time and see how it works. So I grabbed the old little guy. I grabbed the little guy, the mini. I said, let me hope and a prayer and see how this works. So I put the mini up and I got some footage with the mini. I don't know. You had posted a link there, Lawrence, you put up. Where'd you go? Lawrence disappeared on me. So yeah. So I don't know. I used the mini to capture some footage for these people. And it worked out just well. I mean, they just wanted to get footage of me being there. Lawrence has disappeared on us. I don't know. Maybe he lost his internet. Hopefully he'll be all right.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You.
Okay. For some stupid reason, it just went. Psst, Evil Mux was gone.
I don't know.
But as Herman was saying, they actually used Herman's footage in this story that they were doing about this paddleboard guy with a small company. Yeah. And now keep in mind, Hank is about 70-something years old. He has the handshake of a 20-year-old wrestler.
Gorilla?
Yeah. Okay. And he gave me a bag. I'm 6'3". Hank is what? About how tall?
I don't know.
Yeah, 5.
He's shorter than me. So
5'6". Okay, but he gave me this bag of weights that this guy does handstands upside down while holding weights and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He gave me this bag of weights and it almost pulled me over to the ground. I mean, he picked it up with one hand, so I didn't want to look unmanly and just grab it with both hands, but I was struggling with that damn thing. But anyway, to make a long story short, we actually recorded the footage. It's a little low, so I may have to try and turn it up. But this was of the story.
Yeah, it's how you captured the footage of them doing.
Right. So this was, believe it or not, one of the first jobs. Let's see if I can pull this up right here.
Can you?
Got it. It sounds a little low, but I think I turn it up.
Wow. Supposedly New York New York One? Or
Yes, the local cable stations. If you live here in the five boroughs of New York, you have Spectrum Cable, then you have other different cable
yeah, I think
companies.
it's the
So
Spectrum, right?
Spectrum Cable, they have an all 24-hour news station called New York One.
Right. So they did a story on him.
Yes, and he invited us back.
Right. And what is it? The news station actually snatched this up and used some of the footage from the drone.
From those guys' aerial.
Right. So Lawrence said, I don't have that cable network here, so I
I
wasn't able to
did,
see it.
and I did record it with my Osmo Pocket 2. Okay, this was it right here. This is it framed out. They were just talking about how Hank was they were trying to get Hank to say who's the better paddleboarder because all three people were here. This guy is
Well,
been
yeah,
here a while. These two are new. But anyway, to make
three
a
of them
long
took a
story
lesson
short,
from. They had a lesson with Hank. On the
yes, they all came out to do the lesson and the video, but this is it here. I'm gonna see if you can hear it.
Oh, it's low.
This is Hank.
Not a low, but you know. Oh, wait, whoa.
Once they realize that they can do it, then they keep going.
You see that little look off to camera that he just did?
Yeah.
Hank was looking at me. He was speaking about
One of
Was it
Herman's
the part with the
shots.
self-doubt or the part with
himself
I mean, you definitely did the full journey, a little hesitant at first, and you really got your footing, no pun intended there, on the paddleboard, and you made it all the way
Well, that's
across.
what he said it's all about. You start with the self-doubt, and then you find your confidence, and you don't fall throughout the entire lesson because you paced yourself.
Okay, that was it basically, but it
You know
was
what?
it. Go ahead.
You should also give a shout out to the name of that screen recording, that free screen recording.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I will show. So you guys want to know how to screen record real quick? I will actually pull it up and show you real quick. I'm just sharing the screen, but it's called Screen Rec, record, right here.
Yeah.
Screen record. It's free. They give you up to 2 gigs of free space to use.
Mhm.
They do have a plan for $60 a year. That's $4 a month. This is not a paid endorsement, but for $4 a month, $60 a year, that's really not bad. $69,
It's
whatever it is.
not a paid endorsement.
No. Stop. But it's free. Hey,
Don't let
hey,
him
hey,
lie to
Meryl.
you.
And
Don't let him lie to you.
all I can
Don't
say is that you need a screen recorder.
don't let him
This
lie to
Rob
you.
goes nice porn stash. Yeah, see, Drone Days. Hey, what's up? Says hey, free sounds good.
Don't let him lie to
It
you.
you download it, and it puts a little widget in your corner. And when you're recording video, all you do is highlight the area that you want to show, and it gives you a 3-second countdown. 3, 2, 1, and it starts recording. And would you stop it when you want to stop it? It's very easy to use.
Uh-huh.
So there you go. So if you guys wondering how we're snatching up
Yeah,
stuff,
it's that cheap.
yeah. Hey Bill, what's up, man? How are you?
Mhm.
There's Jody.
Jody. Now, Lawrence.
Yeah.
This lemonade is pretty good.
Yeah, I bet it is.
You
Lemonade.
know what?
Lemonade.
Cats
And I
just
wish I
be
had a pH tester or something.
cats just be hating.
What are we gonna finish talk? What are we gonna talk about now, man? It's 5:51. FPV corner starts at 6. I need to send this guy a message. So I'm gonna open up another
We
window
talking about this if we can
to
get
make
through it.
sure. Huh?
We talk about Good old
Rob, you see what Rob asked?
what?
Yes, we do. Herman and do you guys drink rum? Well, we do on
Oh yeah,
occasion.
yeah. But w- yeah, on occasion, yeah, like on Saturday and Sunday and Wednesdays, occasions.
Yeah, on
We,
occasion. And what do you think the lemonade?
what happened?
Actually, this was actually for dropping a shot tonight, but
Well, Lawrence, let's talk about this Mavic 4 Pro.
yes, let's get into that because there's a lot of stuff for them.
Yeah, there's
For
a
the
lot of
well, we got specs and everything.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the Mavic 4 Pro. They
I
just
mean, it's
dumped.
not like
They just
hold on. I want to say it's not like other channels don't have the specs as well, but we go into the specs a little more in a
they
little
just
more detail
they
than
just
just
dumped the
reading over
specs.
them.
They just dumped the specs this week because on what was it? Jasper started it up lovely because going all the way back to the 25th of April, Jasper dropped a post where he was on
Hmm.
it, and he dropped a post
This
talking
right
about
here,
the weight.
the wait is over. Web
Yeah,
shops have now leaked in detail, every detail of the Mavic 4 Pro, and I can't wait to show you some exclusive new images. There have been high resolution images, specs leaked, everything about this drone. Everything you wanted to know, now you can find out about it.
look out.
Go ahead, Herman.
Mm-mm. And then that same day, uh, that Jasper did that. Igor jumped right up on it too, and he jumped on it with a series of posts that
Yeah,
started
yeah.
with
High resolution pictures. The sky is a new king of the air. The Mavic 4 Pro conquers the icy peaks and skies. Its gaze has no limits. Long live the new king DJI. And they're saying this because I believe after this, everything's enterprise. That's
you
just
think?
me. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Well, let's see. But what?
Will this be the last large camera drone? Maybe not. Does it look like it at these prices? Yeah.
Well, you know what? He started off with that to the shots with the drone and the battery, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah. He has these also where hold on, the vision system. There it is right there. Now I thought this was interesting because they've gone back to the Phantom 4 days when they used to insert the battery in the back of the drone.
mm-hmm.
Where we were talking
Like
about
they
the
did
swelling
on
of
on the
batteries.
Mavic 3.
Yes, the Mavic, like on the Mavic 3, they've gone back to inserting the battery in the back. You know why? It helps with the center of gravity, for one. And they've come to find out, we mentioned this earlier, that top battery feed, when the
Mm-hmm.
batteries start getting puffy, like in your Air 2S and your Air series drones,
That's
that
not
could
going to
be
discharge. Yeah.
what happened.
Those canisters that slide in won't discharge.
Right, right.
Then what did he do? He showed some stuff with the cellular dongle. I mean, that's not a North American thing, right? The cellular dongle. So
This here,
but yeah, I was that was the next post that he had, right?
this is interesting because like you said, we don't use this here in the United States. We would not need a third generation network or dongle for reception.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, is this going to be a UK thing only or Canadian thing or I can't even say Canadian because I don't know what system they use up there, but I do know, huh?
Who knows? But I just look at the fact that it's something that he posts, and I was also looking at the fact that he went out and put out another post on the ND with the ND filters, and all of these things. you know, between him
And
and
over the time frame of how long?
just one day.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you're wondering how they came up with these electronic ND filters. If you're
Now,
looking at these, the bottom half they have not shown yet, but they
well,
probably will. But under there are contact leads.
well, honestly, Lawrence, with as far as electronic ND filters,
Yeah,
they're not going to do electronic ND filters.
right. But I'm wondering what the
But these
leads.
ND filters is the same, and here's why I believe that you probably won't see the electronic ND filters. Um, in keeping costs down and
Yeah.
on a drone. And I know this for a fact from with my camera. For me to do firmware updates, right? Now there's certain camera bodies along the line of those cameras. So like, Sony, Nikon, Lumix, whichever camera body you purchase, they have a line of camera bodies. And
Mm-hmm.
the more professional cameras have to pay for certain upgrades that come
Yeah.
in the firmware update.
Yeah.
So when you look at ND filters in a camera, certain cameras you end up having to pay for that update in the firmware update.
Right.
Um, to do anything electronically, you're talking about internet connections, downloading, and being able to, you know, move it over. Now, one of the ways that it's done for cameras is you download the firmware onto an SD card. You put that SD card into your camera, and you run the firmware into your camera. No big deal.
Right.
I think keeping the cost down and everything like that, it was the best way to do, which especially with a drone that had given you so much bells and whistle.
Right.
Oh, you're kind of early.
I can go. I can leave.
No, it's actually good because we're supposed to have FPV corner,
Yeah.
and I'm waiting for this guy to contact me, and he just has not.
He
Well,
must
that's
be
all
like
right
me.
Just left me
because
hanging. So,
because
Oh,
we
I
got a
just
lot.
yeah. Sorry,
we-
it's been a
Because we
day. You can tell it's been a day, but that's
oh
okay.
okay. Because we have
all right.
a lot of things that we could actually talk about, and I'll get back. Listen, these
What's
guys
up,
have
Vic?
heard about the Mavic 4 from a bunch of other on a bunch of other channels. I'll get back to it after this. But what I'd like to get into is talking with you about things that affect us all. From the hobbyists of us that only
Mhm.
fly recreational to the guys that fly commercially. And there's a few things that I know myself from flying commercially that kind of interplay with this. But truthfully, I was looking at the bill and I'm listening to hollering and screaming on a lot of other channels. And this
No, that doesn't happen.
no, sometimes a little bit, even here.
And deservedly at times as well.
The was that the SB 1422?
Yep, yeah,
This
14, 22, and 11,
this
21. Yeah.
Florida legislator that came up with this bill that gives what is it that it's basically is going to restrict drone flight over critical infrastructure and allow, if I'm not mistaken, Florida residents the ability to take drones down.
Using reasonable force if they're
Yes,
surveilled.
no, yeah.
Using reasonable force. So now, what that means is that you give reasonable force to two, four cans down, one in the hand, the right to knock down a drone that is just passing by in his area
Hmm.
because the pilot may be in the close proximity of his
Now,
area.
before you go on any further, I just have one question. Oh, hold on a second. He's
Sure.
here. He's here. Um, Jimmy's here. I told him 6 o'clock. He's at a game, but hold on a second. Vic, we were supposed to do a little FPV
Yeah, no
session
worries. No worries. I'll sit in the background of the
from
kids.
6 o'clock. If you can give me about 10-15 minutes, I can bring
Or
this
you want me to
guy
come
up.
back in, or you just want to put me in the backstage?
No, you can
Um,
hang out right here if you like.
you can hang out. You can go back screen, whatever you want. It's up to
Thanks,
you.
my beer.
Okay, all right, whatever you want to do, Herman. I got to bring in
Mhm.
um, duct tape FPV. That's Jimmy Harden.
How's it
Can you
going?
hear me? Can you hear me?
What's up, guys? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
we
hear
got
you.
you good. We got you good.
How's everybody?
We're good, man. We're good. I know you. I know you're limited on time. You're at the kids' soccer game or something to that effect. So I know you got a
Okay.
little bit of time.
Yeah,
I just wanted to bring you on our FPV corner. Um, you're from Jersey. You're an FPV pilot. You fly
I am.
camera drone. You fly camera drone also.
Okay.
I, I've never had a DJI drone. I've never had a camera drone. I've never had one.
Really, really.
No?
How long
Never.
have you been
No.
flying FPV?
I, I think it's like 4 years now. I
Really?
think. Yeah. I mean, I had like a cheap camera drone from Walmart, like one of those toy ones.
Okay,
You know,
like a
probably.
Authentic or something, right?
It was a Holy Stone, I think.
Hollystone,
I
yeah,
think it
yeah, yeah.
Holly Stone. Yeah, it was a little cheap one, and my kid's mother bought it for Christmas, and you know it was just a little toy, but I played with it, and then right from there I went into building them because I had a ball with it. I had fun with it, and then I
Okay.
found an FPV page on Facebook, and I started watching that, and I
Mhm.
don't know, I just wanted to
So
do it,
you're a
man.
member
That's
of
it.
FPV for beginners.
So what
Yeah,
do you?
yes. What do I
Go ahead.
fly? Generally, I fly a 7 inch.
Mhm.
I mean, I started flying freestyle, like doing tricks and all that stuff. That's what I got into. But as you know, I kept flying. People kept asking me to film, and
Mhm.
honestly, I do a lot more filming than I do freestyle now.
Okay.
So basically, you know what you guys do with the DJI drones, I just do it with an FPV drone.
I got you. I
Right,
saw I
right.
saw
Well,
I saw your video.
I
I
got
mean,
interested in your video because you chase speedboats.
I love chasing speed. It's about to start. You know, it's a summer thing here,
All right.
and yeah,
Yeah,
I just got into
yeah.
that because I was
Mhm.
down at the docks flying freestyle, and
I
they,
remember
you
you
know,
started that about a year and a half ago, right? Almost
longer than
two.
that now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it was more than two. But you know, where I live is a huge boat racing community. There's just it's a big thing, and you know, they come here every year. Boats come from all over, and it just made it easy for me. Like,
Well, I'm gonna put your page in your YouTube page. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jimmy does not do a lot of YouTube, but what's on there is more than sufficient for you to see what he does. I'm gonna play your video real
yeah.
quick because I know you're at your kid's soccer game, and our guest that was supposed to
Oh, that's
come
all
on
right.
later
Yeah.
came on early, so we're trying to get everybody in
Ah,
in real quick. All right. So I told you I was going to
that's
show
a
you
good thing. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Your Sky Stars video only because we have to worry about copyright smacks on the hand for copyrighted music. But I asked if I could show
Okay.
this video. This was a video of you freestyling in a local park. I don't know how big
Okay.
that park was, but I can show 2 minutes of it really quick. Give me a second if I
Sure.
can pull it
Well,
up.
which
Hold
one it
on.
is? I haven't put a
Share.
freestyle video on
There we
YouTube in a long
go.
time.
And you will hear prop noise. I'll turn it down some.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, this is like one of my earliest earlier freestyle videos. This is when I first started flying. Really,
Well,
that was the
all I
old
can
one.
see. What were you flying here?
What's that?
What were you flying here? A
That
5 inch?
that's no, that's a 7 inch.
See, now I
You
would never
you
do
could
anything
hear
like
the
this with
props
my
on it.
seven
It's
inch.
just a 7 inch.
I could never
I fly
fly like this with mine.
I fly a lot of 7 inch because it's a lot easier to hold on to the bows at higher speeds. The 5 inch it chews
Right,
up
it
the battery
handles
a
the
lot
higher
faster.
speeds but with less vibration, correct?
Usually the faster you go, the more vibrations you get. But as long as everything's tight and you don't have bent props or anything, and your tune's okay, you really don't have a problem.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
it's the old one.
I just
Yeah,
have
that's a
one
7 inch.
question to ask you. What's the highest speed on your 7 inch? My top speed on my FR7 is 63 to 65 miles per hour. What's
Uh,
the top speed on yours?
I've 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 gotten the 7 inch over 175 miles an hour.
Well, see, that's what I was wondering because um, you chase speedboats, and I know they're
Right.
moving. So if they're moving like that, okay, I would figure you'd have to be at least more than half their speed to keep up with them.
Oh yeah, some of those boats are going fast. Like the big boats, they are doing 175. They are going.
Well, listen,
The
I'm
smaller
gonna.
boats, they're normally doing probably around 100.
Okay. I put the link to your channel in the group. I'm gonna pause this here only because if you want to watch any of
Oh,
Jimmy's videos, you have to go to his YouTube channel, which is New Jersey underscore drone underscore service. I did post your channel in the page, I believe, and it's in the link. Yes, I did, and it's in the link below.
there's a link in the description. But Jimmy,
Yeah.
I gotta ask you a question. I watched the video.
Yes, sir.
I watched that video, and I watched the video. I watched the video clips of you chasing some boots and some other stuff.
Awesome.
You said that was one of your earlier videos. Like how
Absolutely.
earlier? Now, how long that video there, right? From the time you first started flying to that video was shot, because that's not one of your earlier videos. Meaning that when I first picked up the drone.
It wasn't far from it, man. I got to be honest with you. I picked up the drone thing pretty quick. Um, that was I don't know. I was probably flying for like a year at that point.
Okay,
Probably about a year at that point.
all right.
But I
Because
mean, uh,
I know
if
a
I if
lot
I
of guys that I know a lot of guys that within that first year of flying FPV, it's like
oh, I have broken so many drones, sir. I have boxes of parts and dead batteries and frames, literally like very large boxes full of parts. I remember when I started, I was ordering motors in boxes of 50 because I was getting them less than half price. It made sense to do it that way.
Right.
It doesn't take much to damage it. I hit a pole or something else like that. You could take it out pretty easy, and I was switching a motor every day or a motor arm or busting a battery. 'Cause, all you got to do is puncture the light pile and it's gone. It's up in flames.
Well, real
So
quick,
I went through quite a bit.
really quick before I let you get out of here, what protocol are you using? Crossfire, ELRS, or I know you're not using DJI or analog.
I am using the Express LRS protocol for the receiver. I
Mm-hmm.
started off on Crossfire, but for some reason, because I fly a lot over the water, I fly out pretty far. For some reason, I kept getting fail safes, staying low and going far out in the water. I don't know why. And then I
With
switched to
Crossfire,
Express LRS, which
was it with
yeah,
Crossfire? Because I
Crossfire.
had that happen.
Yes, it
I
was on the
that
Crossfire, and I kept getting fail safes. And it
dude.
was only on the water and only low and only like when I was going far out, but it kept happening. So I switched to the Express, and it's never happened again, honestly.
Okay, well, that's actually the same reason I switched to Express LRS. I had to learn to trust it, like I did Crossfire, and I had just built a drone for about $600, and I had it
Right.
2 days and cruising across the water at about 60 miles an hour, and video just went out. So I instantly hit throttle to go up in the air. And because I had goggles on, I tried to fly it to where I was. It was out over the water, and I thought it was over the land, and I hit the kill switch, and I heard it go
Oh,
whoosh into the water.
oh, that hurts so bad. I know the feeling. I have sunk a few. I mean, I do have some tricks if people want to try them. Believe
Yeah.
it or not, they sell water dissolving tape on Amazon. And
Oh,
then I would probably wrap up like 25 or 50 feet of fishing line around like a chapstick tube, slide it off, put a bobber on it, and I would wrap the water dissolving tape off. And if it goes down, I mean,
it'll
you still
it'll
got to
it'll
go
at
out.
least float. You'll at least know.
It, it'll at least send the bobber up, and then you can go over and grab your line and pull your, get your footage back and your camera at least.
Yeah.
I mean, GoPro replaces them like any other company as long as you have the camera. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
If you
yeah.
don't have the camera, you're not getting anything back.
Well, listen,
So I
Jimmy.
mean, that setup costs like $7 and it works. I mean, for guys that want to try and get their stuff back.
Okay.
It's worth. It's a good tip. I appreciate it. Listen, I gotta let you get back to your son's soccer game. I appreciate you coming through. I have your
Yes,
channel in the
sir.
description. Post some more stuff on YouTube, man, for us. Okay, I
I
appreciate
will
you coming
actually. I got
through.
a bunch of good stuff. And if
Okay.
anybody ever has any questions or needs any help, feel free to hit me up. I have a pretty good knowledge base on
I've done it
FPV
in the
stuff.
past, so I know. Yes, that's true.
All
All
right.
right, man.
Well, there's a
All right,
link in
guys.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
having
you
me.
coming on.
Thank you.
Nice
Thanks.
seeing you guys.
Thanks, man. Enjoy the rest of
Later,
your
Later.
guys.
evening.
You too, fellas.
All
All
right.
right. Take it
Thank
easy.
you. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
That was awesome.
That was good.
Sorry,
Thank you. Thank
Vic.
you, Vic.
He was supposed to come on at
No, no, no,
6, but
no
it was
worries.
three
No
minutes
worries.
after. And
No,
and
that's
Yeah.
no problem. I just thought I'd jump in and stay in the background and watch. I don't know you're going to pop me right in. So
oh,
So
okay.
screwed it up the other
the
way this time. Last time I was late. This time I was early. I'm kind of right in the middle now. Isn't that how that works?
It balances
you know
out,
what it
right?
was?
Yin and yang. It
It,
does.
I saw you there, and I was like, "Oh, it's kind of early." But all right, no problem. But
I
anyway,
was going to hang out
we,
backstage, finish my beer.
we could talk about it. We could talk all about it because this Florida, like I said, the bill there, it seeks to restrict overcritical infrastructure and
Mm-hmm.
um allows Florida residents to take down drones. I everything when you word certain things in bills, when you allow the general public, you deputize the general public.
That's a good way to put it.
The the interpretation of things becomes. We all remember the game of telephone, right?
Right.
You understand? Interpretation is a big thing. So when you have the general public, you deputize the general public to become agents of the government to take down drones that they believe are doing malicious things. That
Nefarious
becomes,
things. Yeah.
that becomes dangerous.
It does. But before we get too deep down this rabbit hole, it did not pass.
I understand that.
It was substituted. Another bill was substituted for
How
that, so it's
close
still a
was it
critical
to
infrastructure.
passing?
It was as a House bill first.
Mm-hmm.
House bill.
Mm-hmm.
And it passed out of the House, 114 to nothing.
Right.
So it passed unanimously. But I think that's because of the other language that was in it. What they did is then the Senate has its own bill, which was 1422. And it's very similar to 1121, the House bill, but they didn't have the part that said you may use reasonable force to remove anything from the sky under 500 feet. So it was substituted and passed out, and now the term is that was laid on the table. That was the other term. It's ordered enrolled, which is Florida speak for it's on its way to the governor to sign. So 1121 will become law, And it still has some problematic parts, but the part that says you may remove the drone from the airspace is not in it. So
Okay.
it's not going to happen, and it won't happen. So if we have another Florida man issue like we did with the Walmart drone, then
So that
it
still
won't
would
be
be
covered
you.
under the law. That's right.
I
It'll
was
still be a federal.
actually that's why I was raising my finger, Vic, because I
Oh, I'm
wanted
sorry.
to ask this one simple thing,
Uh-huh.
one simple question, and that is because the FAA says anything in the air that's considered an aircraft, it would be a federal offense to take down any of these aircraft.
I'm glad you mentioned it, Lawrence.
Drone, FPV, kite, whatever they
Not a
declare
kite. A kite's not an aircraft.
whatever they declare an aircraft. There's
Right.
something with motors, anything with
Right.
motors to take down.
Roughly, yeah.
How was the FAA, if this had passed, how was the FAA going to deal with this not being a federal offense? Because the first thing I'm going to scream is to all law enforcement, this is a federal offense by the FAA, and I would start pulling the rule books out, and I'd find me a effing lawyer.
Right.
Well,
Now, a couple clear things up. First of all, it's not FAA regulation because it's USC, United States Code, 18 USC 32. That's
Right,
actually would be
mention that.
DOJ, not the FAA. So that would be the FBI.
Department of Justice.
Yeah,
Yes.
Department of Justice. And so that they'd be the ones that do it. Now, to date, though,
Did my homework on that one too.
they haven't done anything like that. There's not been anybody. There's been one person charged under 18 USC 32. And that was the guy who shot down the sheriff's drone in Dade County, I think. And he was indicted. He wasn't charged. So actually, a grand jury then were the ones that handed down the charge of interfering with an aircraft under 18 USC 32. But he wasn't ever punished for that. He was punished for other things. First of all, he was a 22-time felon in possession of a firearm. It's like, maybe you really shouldn't have a gun, or 18, or some ridiculous number of felonies on his record. He still had a firearm.
So did they drop the charge? Because the feds don't like to drop anything. Did they drop it?
Well, I'm not sure exactly where it fell off. I don't know where it fell off the table. It came out of the grand jury. And by the time it worked its way through, I think he probably pled guilty to something. So it might have been part of a plea deal. There's just no way you can get out from underneath something like that.
Yes, they just probably ran it all concurrent. Let them do 100 years.
So now here's my next question, and we haven't brought this up, but there are 2 or 3 other states that are trying to pass equal laws. Where does the FAA step in, and where do they? How come we haven't seen anyone from the FAA say?
That's a good question.
Here we go.
There's equal laws meaning certain things of flight, not the takedown.
Or is the FAA
nobody else has done that.
Or is the FAA a server in a closet like YouTube?
No, it's definitely not a server in the closet. Trust me, I've spoken to many of them.
I was just trying to be disrespectful because they.
No. I get it. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for some of the people I talk to in the FAA too. Believe it or not, I'm going to take that off. I don't care what my hair looks like. It's the issue is the legal department inside the FAA. They won't, if they see something like they probably get tired of seeing emails from me. There's a person there that hears from me fairly regularly because anytime I reach out to a state or a city council or something like that, I CC them and say, hey, this is the email address, because they have a preemption email address if you need to reach out to them. And if they will not actively reach out if they see a law and say, hey, this is the issue. Right. I've dealt with it in there's a small town here in Colorado. My brain's not working.
So you're saying you have to bring it to their attention.
You have to bring it to their attention, and then one of 2 things will happen. Either John will then go ahead or not John, what's his name? My brain again. It's been a long day. Been flying all day. Then that person can say, here I am. If you have a question, ask me, to the city council member, or the city council member say, oh, this is who I need to ask. Okay, I will ask you. So the legal department of the FAA can be reactive but not proactive.
Okay.
They will only do something if somebody in position of leadership asks. If I went out and said, hey, you know what, my city of Lakewood, Colorado is making this law that says you can't fly here, 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 and here, then they would not then reach out to the Lakewood City Council. I would go to Lakewood City Council meeting again and say, hey, you can't do this, and if you don't believe me, here's an FAA.gov email address that you need to reach out to.
Right.
So and then it would be up to them to reach out to the FAA and ask them to do
Okay.
something. So
Well,
I would like to see them more proactive, but that's not how
right.
they handle things.
Then we would be asking them to do their job.
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I would say,
money. No, we're not. We're not bashing
no,
anyone.
I mean, me personally.
Supposedly, taxpayers' money
Well, yeah,
is
you're
supposed to
right.
be what helps these people do their job or maintain their job.
Right. I will just say that I would like to see the FAA legal department, this one particular person I deal with, be a lot more proactive. I mean, the last
Okay.
couple of emails, he said, hey, you know what? Like to Telluride, that's the city I was working with, Telluride.
Right.
He said, okay, well, if you have questions, please reach out to me. And so there was that. And then he also sent me, I was talking about something else, and he sent me a bill that died up in Wyoming that I didn't even know about. He goes, by the way, you should know about this. So it's not like, it's not this kind of relationship. So that's kind of nice, but I don't understand the philosophy behind being reactive instead of proactive. I don't know why. I mean, I've been meaning to ask. Maybe that in Houston next month, I'll ask them because they will be down there. FAA is going to be down there in Houston next month. So,
What I wanted to ask you is, as far as the Florida bill is concerned, with those wordings being removed, as far as everything else, as far as the critical infrastructure, most of the things that hobbyists are looking to get shots of, I think that in their innocence, they just want to be able to get shots of certain water towers, tanks, like that. And some of that makes for very good city art, believe it or not.
oh yeah, it makes some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and some of these shots that in some of these places, like I know, mentioned like power plants and stuff like that. Well, we understand that, but power generation station, water,
Oh yeah,
treatment
Stadiums with venues.
I get all of the things that they mentioned in all of these things, but some of those things make for really cool shots, and I'm like, I don't think that anyone's is in any doing anything malicious, but there's two things that come out of this, and one is that there's a lot of talk that is like, how does this affect the guys that work commercially? And I know from experience, like, from doing cell towers.
That's actually in here. I'm not ignoring you. I'm reading this as you're talking.
When there's a cell tower at a power plant or something like that.
Or a train station.
Right.
An airport. The airport is in here.
Right. There's a thing like we have there's an SBA. We have to have clearance like up to like 48 hours before we even get there, even though we have keys and combinations to just walk in the place. So our clearance for those type of places to be able to go there and put the drone up and fly has to be done 48 hours or so in advance. So they know you're going to be there. But as far as the recreational guy that's flying, and that might want to get that shot because he think, oh, it's cool,
Yeah.
Those are the things that they're taking away from guys. So I wonder now, a lot of these things that kind of pop up as far as land ordinance, bills like this. The other one we spoke about last week, Lawrence, where what was it? You can't get too close to the neighbor's house or 50 feet.
Yes.
Oh, that was 1249 from Lee.
Yeah, the guy from Utah.
Yep, Mike Lee.
Mike Lee, yeah. I think it's more and more of an attack on the guy who's actually flying recreationally and just, just wants to fly drones.
Well, if you look at 1121, unless the operation is for commercial purposes and is authorized by and in compliance with FAA administration or FAA regulations. So that automatically just throws all the recreational folks under the bus. If I'm up flying, water tower is perfect.
Can you repeat that? Because for years, hold on, before you do, I just want to point out, years ago, Herman said it's going to come to a point in time where if you want to fly, you need to be a Part 107, and it more than likely will need to be commercially.
This is an exemption for
right, but repeat what you just read.
The 20 different critical infrastructures they've got listed here.
Okay,
so the operator over a person may not knowingly or willfully operate a drone over a critical infrastructure facility, unless the operation is for commercial purposes and is authorized by and in compliance with Federal Aviation Administration regulations.
And says nothing about local jurisdiction or any of that stuff.
Well, that's 1121 from Florida, so that actually does have. That's 1121.
So, but at least in Florida, they're saying, okay, we don't want you flying drones for this, and that, but for commercial and emergency reasons, we will allow this.
Right.
Now, do you think the same thing will settle down in other states? Because it has to go in that, well, it does. I want it to go in that direction. It doesn't have to.
Which direction? That commercial
direction
exemption and recreational don't?
Well, think about it.
I want to agree with that.
Okay, all right. Here. I'm going to be blunt with you, Vic.
No,
We've
please
known
do.
you for a couple of years now.
Yep.
And I want your honest opinion on this. Can we say that the hobbyist part of this community is dead or dying?
No.
And will be gone?
No, I don't think so at all. You're going to get off.
Why?
Like
Don't
this
you think so?
Because it's way too important for this industry. You've got you look at the aviation industry in general. Look at the pilots, look at the mechanics, look at the designers, look at the engineers. They're a dying breed. My brother-in-law, I think I've said this before, my brother-in-law is one of the lead mechanics for United here in Denver. And if you look at the mean age of mechanics, it's slowly going up. Mean age of pilots is slowly going up. They're aging out. We don't have people getting excited about aviation anymore to make it a career. That's where the recreational, that's where the hobby folks can really make a huge difference. And if we get the one-offs like this, where they have the commercial exemption, what we need to do as this is being crafted, we need to go talk to our legislators and say, look, instead of giving us, okay, you're flying under 14 CFR Part 107, you're exempt. How about if we also include, 44809, 49 USC 44809, the recreational side? Why don't you just say you're exempt if you're flying under 44809 or 107 as amended, and you're done. Okay, if you're flying legally, you can fly here. That way, you're going to get rid of not get rid of. You'll have a remedy for people who are flying illegally already outside of the FAA regulations.
Well, I want to point out something. It's almost, and not exact, but it's almost like that here in New York. And I'm going to explain what I mean. Here in New York, they expect you to pay $150 to land or take off in certain areas here in New York City. We charge our customers incur that price. Okay,
that's
but
cost of business.
I'm going to tell you, 9 out of 10 police officers that I've encountered or who have been called on me, the only concern that they're concerned about is that I was a Part 107 and I had clearance to fly there.
And that's at the local level. In your case, absolutely, where that would then be an education that somebody needs to educate the NYPD. It's like, but if a recreational pilot, if they have the right stuff, as a recreational pilot, if I'm flying recreationally, I hardly ever do anymore. If I can get clearance to fly someplace.
True.
So,
but the point I'm trying to make is, and I see you're going in this direction also. If this does come to a state near you, let's just hope that they allow you to be able to fly legally as a hobbyist.
Yeah.
The same as
in certain areas. Now, this is just for critical infrastructure. So I don't want people to think all of Florida, you can no longer go fly your drones recreationally in Florida. There are some First Amendment issues with this, reading through this. I've not had a chance to digest this yet. I've just been too busy. But
Well,
Yeah, because usually you put something on LinkedIn that's rather lengthy
or something
and
like that, or
yeah,
I'll write an article.
I'm
I
still
haven't
waiting.
time.
I'm still
I
waiting,
got
bro.
well. Actually, I'm leaving for Boston tomorrow morning, so I won't have time until sometime next week. But
okay.
Okay.
vacation.
Well,
Inquiring minds
the
need to
reason,
know.
the reason why I was interested in that is that I see what Lawrence is saying, and as far as recreational, and I think that the reason why that constantly keeps coming up is that it's always another obstacle that technically they really can't defend themselves against, and
You talking
there's
about recreational
Mhm.
can't defend themselves?
recreational pilots.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
You know,
yes.
it's like, okay, like take here in New York, for instance. New York says, okay, well, I can get clearance from Lance to fly almost anywhere
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
as a recreational pilot.
Sure.
But New York says you have to pay me $150.
Yeah, that's a
So
land use issue. It's
Yes,
right. So
stupid.
that
yes,
I will
says,
agree.
yes, yes.
I will agree 100%. It's stupid.
so
Um,
that says to hell with your Lance,
mhm,
pay me.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
It's money. Money
It
makes
is.
the
Right.
world
It
go
is.
round.
And
So,
it's
It's a
funny.
huge metropolitan area.
So a guy who's a recreational pilot that just wants to fly his drone, he says, "Oh, I don't want to get caught up in this
Uh-huh.
nonsense of being fined and ticketed and them
Mhm.
taking my drone that I paid good money for. I'm not even going to do that or get
Right.
caught up in it." So I see what Lawrence is saying about as far as a recreational
Oh yeah, I can
pilot.
see where you're coming from. Let me ask you this though: New York City, downtown
Mhm.
Denver,
Uh-huh.
Miami, Chicago. You fill in the
Any
blank wherever you want.
any
Any
city without
large
building over
city.
13
Right.
stories.
Right. Do you really want a recreational operator flying there? Some of them, yes, absolutely. Like your guy, your FPV guy. You trust me. You don't want me flying FPV anywhere, anywhere. You put it in the water. I'll put it in a brick wall in
But
2 seconds
see,
after you hand me the
you see
controller.
where there may be a change of heart with FPV.
Mm-hmm.
9 out of 10 movies that you watch, action scenes are shot with an FPV pilot
100%,
swoop,
100%.
swooping in from the sky.
I
So,
know it's
but
awesome.
he's a Part 107
Right.
FPV pilot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, we all know in the drone community, we've all been flying for 5 years plus, and I'm being mild by saying that, okay? Because we're coming up pretty high in the numbers. Um, we all know there are FPV pilots out there that dive the Empire State Building with tiny whoops, and they
Yep.
dive the Seattle Tower and things like that. I honestly believe it will come to a time and point with drones where either you're flying legally or you're not
Well,
everywhere.
we're already at that point
Mm.
with the
Yeah, but
FAA
it's not
regulation.
respected. It's not respected because the people that
Oh
are
no, of
still
course not.
doing flying illegally, and
Mm.
I never thought I'd say this as a 107 pilot, but it's true. They're making it worse for the people who are flying legally.
Some are. Some are. It's a huge paintbrush to paint everybody with.
Right,
You need that
right,
little
right,
detail brush in there to
right.
paint
But
the people who are screwing it
I
up for
just had
everybody
to
else.
put that out there
Absolutely.
when you say FPV pilots are considered rogue. Some of the best
Oh
people I
no,
know
they're
are
not.
FPV
Absolutely not.
pilots.
No, some
Some
of
of
the
the
best
best
people
people
I
I
know.
know are
Uh-huh.
FPV pilots, Vic, and a lot of them don't have their Part 107.
Hmm.
They
But
should.
and the United States and the world is allowing them to make money on YouTube doing the things that they do.
Hmm.
So where does it stop?
It stops when somebody complains.
Hmm.
Now, the FAA, contrary to popular belief, the FAA does not have people that sit at their offices all day and watch YouTube videos looking for violations. That does not exist. But if somebody says, hey, look at this link and sends in a report of somebody, and some people I have here locally with a certain person that was flying 3 miles out.
Yes, we know.
But I tried to talk to him first and he blew me off. It's like, okay, I tried. Here you go. And if somebody then reports somebody, then the FAA will do something about it. But even then, it's only, the FAA cannot do a prosecution or really, they can investigate, but they can't do a prosecution based on a YouTube video.
He said,
or
yeah.
IG or something. They have to have proof that was the pilot flying, and them on camera saying, "Look how I'm flying" is not.
Here's
proof.
the perfect example, and we'll just mention the state, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
That situation happened to a particular drone pilot, and we saw blatantly what was being done and what was not being done by both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
we talking about Mikey?
Who?
I just tried to mention the state, but yeah. Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Facebook keeps popping. Hey, you might be friends with him. No, thank you. But you know the whole story behind that, right?
Yes.
Why? Okay. So if the FAA is trying to look, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't, and he's repeatedly doing this, and so there's like, okay, here you go.
Well, I just want to bring that one subject up because there are other pilots across the United States that feel like they're being singled out, and
your friends.
I'm friends with a few people, not all of them. We're all friends with good and bad.
Oh, absolutely. Although I'm not friends with a lot of bad because they tend to not like me. But the FAA is not out to get anybody out of the air. They're really not. All they want people to do is
right. They want to share the knowledge.
Exactly.
And this is where I get a little upset. I understand each state crying for their independence.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like that for eternity since the states were created. Everyone's crying for their own independence. and thank God the FAA came along and said, look, this is how it's going to be, and this is what it should be, and this is what it's going to be, and that's it. But now politicians that want to become governor of New York, like a certain female entity.
Which I will not mention that name.
Stefanik.
Okay, you can do it.
Homes on Phonic, Stefanik. Yeah, I'll do it. You cut them a check and they'll say anything you want them to say.
Just about.
Well, that's almost any politician. What I'm looking at is how much of what we worry about has to do with the fact that the new world that they want to have in our airspace of passenger drones and
the AAM, Advanced Air Mobility, yeah,
Advanced Air Mobility, yeah. Okay, because a lot of people we've been hollering it for a few years, and a lot of people don't understand it. But Advanced Air Mobility, yes, the whole Advanced Air Mobility thing, not only from passenger drones but from cargo and stuff like that.
Sure.
How much of it has to do with that? I don't know.
Lee's bill absolutely 100% is based on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 1249, the Drone Integration and Zoning Act, that is 100% based on we want to give exclusivity to certain parts of the airspace to certain verticals of the drone industry, that being AAM and drone delivery. So that's what that's all about. They tried to get something like that passed in Utah a few years ago, and it's like, no, you can't. You got federal preemption issues, and so this is Lee's fourth attempt to get this bill passed.
Yes, it is.
And he's yet to get a co-sponsor, and he's yet to get it out of the Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee in the Senate. So it's not going anywhere, but that's his reasoning behind it, because the federal government keeps shutting them down, or not government, but that preemption issue.
Why is he so headstrong on that?
I have no proof, so I'm going to preface this statement by the statement that I have no proof, and this is supposition on my part, although I've been told there is a certain AAM company that tests in Utah that wants this passed. So I'm sure there's something about, supposition, and I don't have any proof. It wouldn't be that hard to get because all this stuff is open records. I just don't feel like doing it because I don't live in Utah. This company wants to have this, and Mike Lee's going to be their best vehicle to get it. So I think maybe he's just like, okay, once again, I'll pass it for you, or I'll introduce it, but it just doesn't ever go anywhere.
So
Never.
there's some sheep lover over there in Utah.
The sheep? Is that what you said?
A sheep. Like bad sheep.
Oh, sheep. Got it. I don't know. Utah's weird. This way, I mean, I have friends in Utah. So if my friends in Utah, I don't mean Utah is weird. I mean, when it comes to drone stuff, Utah is weird. Okay, sorry. John McBride, Kyle Rivers, all those guys live in Utah. So it's like, no, that's not what I meant. Time out. I don't want those guys mad at me. I love those guys. They're awesome people.
Understandable. We get it, Vic. My only question is, we see Florida doing this. We see 2 or 3 other states trying to do this. Is this just to say, hey, look, we're doing our job in certain political offices? Because I see shit being thrown at the fan and not all of it sticks.
Hopefully it doesn't stick to the fan. It's supposed to stick to the wall.
Yeah, for real. You get what I mean.
Yeah, I know. Mixing metaphors here. I love it. I do that all the time. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't shoot it. But I think a lot of it is, especially the ones that don't go anywhere. It's the wheel that squeaks the loudest gets the most grease, right? And so the people who continuously complain about this type of stuff to their legislators they're eventually gonna get something happening. The corollary to that, though, the wheel that squeaks the most gets the most grease. When somebody says that to me, my first comment back to them is always, the nail that sticks up the highest gets hammered down the hardest. And so it's you might be a squeaky wheel, but make sure you're not a nail sticking up too high either, because you will be hammered down much quicker than you get any grease to shut you up. And I think a lot of these that really don't go anywhere are people trying to appease their constituents, especially at the local and state level.
A lot of times, yes. Yeah, a lot of times, I believe that too.
Well,
and sometimes they're just making money. I mean, the people who are so anti DJI and Autel, they're getting paid good money.
I don't want to be the voice of gloom, and this is where I come in to lift things up. And when people come to me and say, "Oh, you fly," you remember the Jersey incident? People come to me. Oh,
look up Fox News, Vic Moss, and New Jersey drones. You'll get some pretty interesting.
Vic, let me tell you, no one paid attention to me as far as local friends until the drone incident. All of a sudden, everyone remembers I fly drones, right? My thing is, and I'm going to tell you, like I told everyone during those drone incidents, the United States has one of the best air defenses in the world. If they didn't know what was up there, it would not be up there.
And I think it's 99%. Yeah,
unless it's a balloon.
No, they knew it was there. They just said it. But we're not going there.
I know.
There were some things in Jersey that were not publicly known, other than the fact that they were unmanned aircraft.
Unless you were in the drone community, you heard even
some
less
inside
about
the drone community.
You heard, huh?
Even some in the drone community. There were drones being flown at night there. Yes, not the ones over the houses and that kind of stuff. No, those weren't. You don't test drones at night in a neighborhood over houses. No, that's not what you do. But there were some prototype drones being flown around in New Jersey that were seen. That if it had been at any other place, any other time, even New Jersey at some other times, oh, cool, drone, and that would have been it.
But because there were so many.
But it snowballed. Yeah, and now anything, well, in one of the shows I was on, they're showing, look, here's a drone footage. And I said, and I didn't say it because I wasn't live at the time. But it's like, I can tell you for a fact that is a Southwest Airlines 737. Because it's like, well, how can you tell? It's like, because you can see the tail in the 737 is the only thing Southwest flies. So of course it's a Southwest 737. But it was they kept showing it over and over again as a drone. It's like, no, you idiots. So it's the hysteria, and some of the stuff absolutely were the Phantoms, were the Mavics, were the whatevers. There were people out there just egging others on. So I'm going to put my drone up tonight. Let's see how many reports I get.
That's true. That's true.
But
But
there was also some very legitimate
I just
drones
wanted to
out
point
there.
out, even with all this political stuff going on.
I'm sorry, we went down a rabbit trail. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. But with all this stuff going on, ban DJI, every state wanting to ban drones, etc. Guys, I'm looking into the camera. I'm telling you, like I've been saying for months, almost years, fly your damn drones. Have fun. Just do it legally. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Even if you're a recreational pilot, listen closely. Even if you're a recreational pilot, if you pull up Lance and show that you can fly in that area, if someone questions you, you can go here. You have proof, but do it legally. Pretty much.
Yep. I did that. Let's see, where is it? There it is, right there. Yesterday, Lance approvals, right there. There's all my Lance approvals from yesterday. Oh, you want to do that again?
Yeah.
And so, you just literally, that's my phone right there. There's my Lance approvals from yesterday, and Monday, and Tuesday, and last Monday, and Saturday before that. Yeah, so that's all you got to do is show, I've got permission to fly here. And of course, my binder, I think I've shown you my binder before.
Yes. Now, thank goodness for binders, because unfortunately, not everyone keeps binders. And I wish this would come into Lance, but there needs to be a way. Draymond, Recovery One, mentioned there is an app out there that records every time you fly and every time you get Lance approval and things like that. But a loft
Never heard of that.
A loft needs to do, actually, it just records your flight time and stuff like that, and it has a pre-flight checklist.
Yeah. I thought you meant like this government app out there going,
no. But I believe a loft needs to be able to, I'm sure they saved that data somewhere. I would like to be able
I can go into my account and show you every single Lance thing I've done. It's on our account. I don't know if it's on a server.
Now, hold on. I'm at a loss for this because I've been looking for this. Where can I find this stuff? Because for non nostalgic reasons, I may have needed to prove where I was at a certain time.
Sure. We won't tell that story. Okay, so let me double check here because I've done it before, but I never check. And first of all, I have a lot of wide area authorizations too. So if you go into Lance, back up again, and go into Lance.
I'm with you. Hold on. Wait.
Okay.
We're spotlighting you now. Go ahead.
Okay, so you go into Lance, and let's see. You go click Lance logs. Let's see if that's it. It says total 0. There you go. Look, there's all my Lance logs right there. Holy crap! I got a lot of Lance logs. It just keeps going.
But seriously, honestly, as much as I use Lance, I never even looked or even saw. That shows you how much I pay attention to the app, because I wanted to show people, I wanted to show someone how much I get authority. And it was actually a police officer. And he was like, well, I know you're here. I see you up and down this area. I know you fly, but people complain. And how many times do you fly? And I wanted to show him a log.
Let me show you again, because I think I went through it too fast. Spotlight me again. This is a loft. I use a loft because I'm friends with John. I love a loft. So you go here. This is a loft. Let's see if I can do this backwards. And you touch that little thing right there.
Hamburger.
And then you go to hamburger. And then you just click.
Lance logs, not flight logs. Lance logs.
Flight logs, I think. But then you just you scroll. I have 247. Wow. I just noticed that right there. I have 247. Wow. So yeah, that's how you do it in a loft, in a loft air control. Okay. And that's the only one I use. That's the only.
You learn something new every day. I use this app for work, and I clicked on flight logs, and for some reason I was blind to freaking.
Just click on the hamburger, and then you can have the hamburger.
Yes, and
click on the hamburger, Lawrence.
This is crazy.
Well, there you go.
It shows you how much people pay attention to certain things. I guess.
I do the same thing. I'll do my phone or like my son.
Listen, that's why we're the first to tell you. Herman says it to me all the time. You don't listen to nobody.
We're guys. That's what we do. That's how we're wired.
I'm being honest. Maybe the caveman in me just came out, but Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, DJ Lee, what's up? How are you?
No, Lawrence is real bad. You could tell Lawrence about something for like 10 minutes. And then he'll turn around and be like, check this out. If we did this, I'm like,
Vic, my short-term memory isn't so good.
I just
Okay.
told you
I'm gonna say, yeah, just my short-term
that.
memory isn't so good, but
That's an age thing.
I can remember climbing out of the crib. Seriously, climbing out of the crib the first time, and I heard my mother in the next room, and I flopped back into bed. But my short-term memory, if you say red, blue, green, I'll probably say magenta, purple, black. I'm being honest.
No, I get it. I get it. I'm laughing with you, not at you.
You know what is funny?
Oh, golly.
Half the live stream went out the window, and the other half was out of sequence. But
it did. But we needed to discuss this because people are starting to
seriously.
panic.
Oh, about
Yeah,
Florida,
I-
yeah. And I was there too. Well, you know, you're kind of a doom and gloom guy, and I'm just the opposite. I am the eternal optimist, and I tell that people all the time. Look, I'm the eternal optimist. Unless you prove to me something's bad, I'm going to assume it's good. Same thing with people. I
You're
trust
right.
people
I'm
unless
that
given
guy
not
that
to.
will have that extra battery when you said don't buy it.
Well, I've got 9 for my Mavic, so I can and a couple of DJI 1000s.
But
I will
when you-
never run out of power.
You know what's
We-
funny
we-
about that? I actually, I wondered if it was not a waste, but I have Mavic 3 batteries that haven't been charged yet.
Dude, you need to cycle those things. They're going to go bad.
I should, right? But I'm using the other ones.
Cycle them. I have every single one of my batteries numbered 1 to 9, and I'm anal, so they go in my case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And I pull one out and I move everything down one. I pull the next one out and move everything down one.
See, this is why Herman
These
and I
don't
get
fit.
along. This is why Herman and I get along because he has the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm like, okay, I got batteries. They got letters on them. You know, so
You have to sing the alphabet song in your head to figure out
right.
which one's next.
It works, but it works though. It does work, definitely.
Oh, I get it. It's as long as you have them sequential and you can and then you go ahead and cycle them.
Is there any message that you can give hobbyists as well as Part 107 pilots so they don't worry as much? Because I'm going to be honest, when I heard this thing about Florida, the first thing I thought about was we won't be able to have a South Florida drone meetup anymore.
That would suck. Poor Bob. I see Bob. I'm totally ignoring the chat. So if you guys have reached out to me, I'm sorry. I see Bob. I see Ray. I see a number of people in there. Hey y'all. Yeah, and that's a problem when you have stuff like that. But the hobbyists, be prepared.
Wow, Ray.
To fight. Be prepared. Join forces with the commercial folks for things like this, and that's what we try to do here in Colorado. We try and do the commercial and the recreational. We're slowly working on that because the guy who was running our group passed away a couple years ago, so that's kind of nobody's jumped up. But join forces with the commercial, with the recreational, with law enforcement, all first responders, that kind of stuff. And when stuff like this comes up, fight it. In the meantime, 99.999% of everybody out there in the world, in the United States, doesn't really care about drones. We don't hear about the people who just don't care.
Yep.
We don't hear about the people that say, oh, drones, so what? We hear on nextdoor.com and things like that, there's a drone flying in the park. I felt scared. It's like, well, then you're an idiot. Turn off the news, go outside and play.
True.
Go and for so a walk. That's that's the problem. Went for a walk, saw a drone. And so those are the people that make the most noise, and those are this much of the population. So just don't stress on the negative. Go out, fly, have fun, fly legally, fly safely, and you'll be golden. Cops show up, carry your trust certificate with you, carry your registration with you, carry. I don't have any on me. Go to the FAA.gov/UAS, law enforcement, and you can have what's called the drone card, DRONE.
Yep. Yep.
I had a
Amazon
bunch of them,
sells
but I
them.
took them. Well,
Amazon
yeah.
sells them also.
Well, no, these are the ones that you give to law enforcement when law enforcement shows up.
That you can give away. The ones
Yeah, you give them away,
Or
and
depending on
I
what
had a
state
bunch of
you're
them.
in,
I
depending
took
on
them to an
what state
FAA
you're in,
event. I don't know what I did
tase
with
him
You
them.
heard
before
Herman?
before he tases you.
Depending on what state you're in before you get tased.
You can tase him.
No, don't take a taser.
Well,
One thing you need to figure out, first of all, if somebody shows up, law enforcement shows up, you are, it's almost a CBO too. I just saw Bob's post. You are very likely, if not almost 100% of the time, the most educated person in that discussion. And so you need to act accordingly, but not act cocky. So what I do is I carry these around. This is called the drone responders, or the law enforcement drone card. On one side is that, and the other side is, what you need to do. I pass these out. Now, as an FAA drone pro, I can order these. So, but you can also download them out of the First Responder Toolkit on the FAA.gov email website. So you go to faa.gov/UAS, and somewhere underneath First Responders, you'll see a First Responder Toolkit.
Can I respond?
But if you give, you can. If you give this to a cop, and say, "Hey, by the way, do you know what to do if you roll up on somebody like me?" First of all, be nice. So that helps. Say, "Here, you give this to one.
Go ahead.
You give this to them. You give this to them, whether you printed it out or not."
Where can we obtain this?
FAA.gov/UAS. Let's see if I can. Oh, my thing died. Okay, let's do it this way. FAA.
Got that, Lawrence?
I'm in the wrong button.
FAA.gov.
Hold on. I'm going there now. FAA.gov/UAS.
And yep. And then, oops, mine pre-populates with this big old long website because I go to.
Mine said, "Oh, wait a minute! I forgot to put the HTTP." Damn. FAA.
They usually don't have to. That's weird.
Yeah. I just rebuilt. I just finished rebuilding my computer.
Oh, just put FAA, not FFA. Don't go to the Future Farmers.
FAA.gov. www.faa.gov.
And it won't let me. Oh, there we go. So then we go to. Let me get rid of that part. So you scroll down, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got 4 little blue dots. It says getting started, recreational flyers, not dots, squares, commercial and remote pilots, and then public safety and government. You want public safety and law enforcement toolkit. So you click on that.
Public safety and law enforcement toolkit.
Yep.
I got that.
Can I get in the cart? Can I get in the chat, and then you click download and print our law enforcement pocket card. So I will actually, can I put this in the chat?
I'm writing this down. Public safety and law enforcement kit?
Yeah. Is that going to let me enter? Oh, I won't. I'm not in charge. It won't let me post a link.
You should be able to share. I don't know if guests can,
you should be able to share.
What's the private
You're able to
shot?
share. You can share.
Tell you what, can I send it to you?
Say share screen or share media. You want share screen. And it should ask you what window you want under the main window in the center.
Well, tell you what, I will go backwards then. Whoops, I went too far. Okay. Share. Where do I click?
Under the main screen, you see the gear. To the right of the gear, it says share screen.
Oh, that's pretty. Okay.
Under settings, and it says share screen, and it should give you a tab to click on.
Camera
and if you cannot,
audio,
Herman will push it.
Virtual background. Yeah, I don't get that. I guess I'm not a host.
Oh, no, not the gear. To the right of the gear.
Oh, the one that says share screen? You mean that one where I'm supposed to share screen?
The one next to it.
I swear to God, I had one beer.
See, and Herman says,
okay,
I don't
share
listen.
screen.
Thank you, Vic.
Unmanned aircraft.
You have
See if I hit the right button.
Anyway.
Oh, you don't want me to do that.
Add the scene. There you go. Hold on.
There you go. Okay,
right there.
This is FAA.gov/UAS.
Okay.
If you scroll down, so this is what it looks like. Scroll up and you see getting started, recreational flyers.
Yes.
Certificated, let's speak correctly, remote pilots, including commercial operators, which is the same thing. I don't understand it. And here's what you want, public safety and government.
Gotcha.
You go down here, FAA, where is it? Public safety and law enforcement toolkit. You see that? And you're recording this so people can see it, right?
Yes,
Awesome.
definitely.
Awesome. You click on that. download and print our law enforcement pocket card. Click on that. There you go. You got a
Wow.
PDF.
Gotcha.
I'm
So you
printing
can
some
print that
tomorrow.
out.
I'm printing
Either
a book tomorrow.
We can print that up.
Yes, Herman.
I carry them
I'm
around
on it.
because I do training with some law enforcement every once in a while. So that's why
No,
I
we
carry 'em.
appreciate this, Vic,
Mhm,
because
mhm.
this is what a lot of people. It would cut down a lot as far as people communicating with
Yep. And I'll quit
the
sharing
with
now.
law enforcement. Law
Okay,
enforcement
let's
says, "Hey, this
see if I
guy."
hang up on you guys. I don't want to. Anyway,
Okay, there it
I
is.
don't know how to do that.
There you go. It's going. You're good.
Okay.
It's the
Okay.
three
Oh,
of
so
us
I
on
see. I see.
screen.
There you go. And so
Don't
again,
worry
but even though you are the most, you should be anyway, the most educated person in that in that conversation.
Yes.
Don't act like it.
Yes.
That's what will get you in trouble. No matter
Right, if
whether
you act
it's you know
cocky,
it's
don't act
it's
cocky.
yeah,
Be humble.
exactly.
Be
Whether it's
humble.
drone or whatever, you never want to be
Large,
cocky with somebody in authority.
Well, I cannot agree with whatever, but okay. With drone, I agree.
I get me, eternal optimist. I like everybody until I'm proven otherwise.
Okay, I guess I am the voice of doom.
No, that's okay. Between the two of us, we're probably more realistic than we realize.
You know what? You have a valid point. Vic, it's long past the time.
Oh, it
Listen,
is. It
guys,
is. And we haven't been paying. Have y'all been paying attention to the chat? I don't know if people have
hell
asked
no,
questions. It's
man.
just been like, sitting down and talking. It's been a kick in the pants.
Listen, Vic. We need to get the next time you're in the tri-state area. You got to let us know in advance. Seriously, thank you. CT Pirate put the link. CT
Oh, beautiful.
Pirate
There
put
we
the
go.
link.
Perfect.
Thank
Awesome.
you. I appreciate. We always appreciate you coming on, but even more so.
Thanks, Ray.
But next time you're in the tri-state area or
I
New
don't get up there
York,
much.
you
I don't
got
get
to
up there
come
much.
by
But yeah,
and we have to break bread, man.
I will break bread. Love to do that. Do that. Absolutely. 100%.
I mean, if you just happen to be having a layover or something and you let us know in advance, you seem like the cool person to sit down and have a steak
I
with.
try to be. I try to be. Yeah. I try to be. So, and I don't really drink, so this is kind of an anomaly for me.
Because
I helped
try
somebody
to
with a
bring.
waiver, and they sent me a sample pack of a local brewery. It's
No,
called
Well,
Spotted Cow.
well, see
in
that's
Wisconsin.
okay. Samples are good. Samples are
Yeah.
cool. Samples are cool because you were given it, right?
There we go.
Apparently you
I
were
got
worthy.
samples. Those are the best.
Say what's
Yeah.
the best?
The
Samples.
Samples, yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's either one or two things. Usually it's something that's already out or it's something that's not out yet.
I don't get any of those.
So they're still trying to work it out. So basically it's better than the one that they're gonna
There is. I experienced that really quick, and we got to get out of here. You remember Bartles and James? They used to make
Oh, wow.
the era of wine coolers.
Oh,
well,
man.
I used to work at a
say
glass
Bartles and
recycling company, so they recycled glass and cardboard. All the cardboard from supermarkets and stores they took, and all the glass.
Mm-hmm.
So a 40-yarder container comes in, and our manager goes, "Look, we're supposed to destroy this stuff. They're coming out with it, and they distributed it, but we got to destroy it for the glass." And we left that place. I left that place with about 4 cases of Bartles and James. Everybody left with it, but just to get to my point, you get to try out stuff before it comes out.
You know what, Lauren?
Yeah, it's that
Actually,
time.
no one's actually on.
So if Vic decides to go have dinner, we can hang out for a little while. Or Vic can hang
my
out
wife has dinner probably getting, if not ready, soon ready. Because we're headed to Boston tomorrow morning at 7:30. So
that's right. You're getting out early.
Yeah.
Well, anytime that you give us, Vic, we highly appreciate. Definitely.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time. It's a lot of fun.
We
it's
really
just a kick in the
appreciate
pants. Yeah.
Because
awesome.
I really wanted to know where this was going, because I'm like, here we keep going, because Lawrence and I don't know. Well, Lawrence has been flying a little longer than I have, but I came into flying during the IPP program.
Okay.
When the FAA was doing that, and I remember we did a show on when they terminated it, and then the Beyond came to
that. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I see all of the changes. I came in just when they started to talk about the Part 107. So I see all of the changes, and I was like, this one law after another law after another law, and then the attack on DJI after the blue UAS list, and it's just like, to me, it just seems like it's been an attack on recreational pilots
Both.
for the longest.
Yeah, at the federal level, at the state level, it's DJI.
Right,
yeah.
and then
that's a show in and of itself. But yeah, no.
Whoa. And then when you start talking about everything else that's now recently happening, you start lumping small businesses into the whole thing, and it's like, where do we go from here?
I'm still optimistic about the industry. I really am. Contrary to what a certain drone school person put out today, there is not going to be. It's very unlikely there's an EO sitting on Trump's desk somewhere that's going to ban DJI drones. I even reached out to my DJI or my contacts in DC, let's say, and asked, hey, is there any truth to this? They're like, no, don't worry about it. Is it possible? Sure, anything's possible. This is politics. Yeah. And that's not a political statement. That's just a statement about politics. Big difference. But he goes, no, they haven't heard anything at all about that. So I wouldn't worry about that.
I worry a lot about the whole recreational community because most of the live streams are based around the
lot
community and the recreational pilots. Like we had a whole thing to talk about the Mavic 4Pro, from the drone itself to getting down to all of the specs and everything tonight.
It's not a drone for the average drone user. DJI's not DJI, but one of the drone DJ had said it in one of their articles. This is not a drone for your average drone pilot.
Neither is a Mavic 3 Pro, for that matter.
Actually,
you guys talked about putting drones in the drink. I put one of my Mavic 3 Pros in a creek really ago. Yeah, with my parachute, so I destroyed everything.
Okay, let me tell you, in the 8.5, almost 9 years I've been flying drones, Vic. 1, 2. I've only had 2 drones fall in a drink. One was an
FPV
drone.
One in the drink.
One was an FPV drone, and one was a camera drone, a 3DR solo. At a meetup. yeah, that's how far back I go. Yeah, that's how far back I go, bro.
Well, I started in 2012, but I went straight to DJI. So,
what?
I wish I had.
So did I. So did I.
Yeah, love them. I've tried other brands. I've flown other brands, but they're not for me.
I actually didn't. What happened with me was I saw a guy flying a Phantom. What was it? Phantom 3.
Oh.
And I was like, "What is that?" I need one of those in my life.
And when you start with one, and you end up with and then you guys have them all over your.
Ray Kelly wants to know if you're going to Boston for vacation or business.
When he told me the price, I was like, "Whoa."
My son is just actually got his master's today, and my daughter-in-law is defending her thesis at Harvard on Friday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah, they're stupid people, so yeah.
Nice.
Really dumb.
So he will have legal consultation in another year or two. In the family.
No, they're not doing law. They're astrophysics and computer sciences.
Okay. All right.
It's
still.
okay.
Oh, that's what's up. It's worth celebrating, right?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, but that's good to know. Is there anything you guys want to discuss before we get out of here? I mean, we're just 10 minutes past the hour.
Yeah, we're way past.
After us.
Did you check out the chat, Lawrence? The private?
I saw something in there. Who was it? Oh, no. No, I didn't see that. Okay.
DJ Lee says he put his first DJI FPV in Panther Creek, evading a gray heron.
Who?
DJ Lee, Mr. Lee.
No, I was
I was
saying like
shooting.
I was talking about the Evil Marks chat.
Oh. No, I haven't. Maybe I need to.
I was actually shooting a cardboard boat race for the School of Mines. I was
Oh,
flying over the
okay.
people and everything. I hit a branch, but
Oh,
I do got to get going before my wife comes and knocks my door down. Right now,
Yeah,
that door.
yeah.
yeah. Well, listen, we want you to keep coming back and
Yeah,
sharing the knowledge you have, because maybe if Herman and I look at it this way, maybe if they won't listen to us, they'll listen to you.
they haven't been so far, but you never know. Enough voices shout loud enough; they have to listen eventually.
You know what? Eventually, when the doors are banging down, somebody will listen.
Yeah, I'm not that pessimistic. I'm too optimistic. We'll see. One of us will be right, or we'll both be a little right and a little wrong. That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll always be a happy medium.
Yep, that's the goal, right? Happy medium. You won
Oh,
life.
well, that's good. That's good to know that it did not pass. A lot of people did not know this.
Yeah, I didn't
Yes.
know about it until yesterday, and it was like two or 3 days ago. Or
So
4
you
days
gave
ago,
us breaking news. Florida.
No, it's older news, but to me it was like, oh, I thought this passed, and so it was,
Well,
I got to look and I heard
A lot
somebody
of you
else.
guys don't even know about it.
guys in the
Cool.
community don't know, and I'm glad you did bring it to our attention because, a lot of live streams were talking about it, and I think that most people are going to talk about it again and again and again because they feel that it's another attack on the community.
No, it could be technically on that, and that was just pure ignorance. I mean, I don't know this good love, True Now is his name, Senator True Now. Honestly, in my opinion, when you introduce, this will be the last thing I say, and then I'll leave so nobody can get mad at me. But if somebody like Senator True Now, if they propose a bill that is so grossly in violation of any federal regulation, they should be removed. They should lose their seat in Congress, or in this case, in the Senate, in the House, and the Florida Senate. And if they're a lawyer, disbarred. I really think that they should do that. This bill was just so egregious and so stupid. Anything under 500 feet, it's like, where do you come up with that other than just out of pure ignorance of what the hell you're talking about?
Yeah.
And Greg signed off the other day on one of his shows, and I told him I was going to steal it, but I'm going to give Greg pure credit for this. He goes, "Tell your lawmakers to quit making stupid rules so we have something else to talk about." I told Greg I was going to steal that, and that's how I was going to start signing off on all these things. Tell your legislators, quit making stupid rules so we have something else to talk about.
We can still contact you through Facebook for
Facebook. Y'all got my email address.
Got your email.
The Drone Alliance. The Drone Alliance.
Drone Service Providers Alliance and the Drone Advocacy Alliance.
There's
SPA and DAA.
There's a link in the description for everything. Vic, if you ever need us,
I got y'all.
Please do not ask Vic where are you flying next week. He's a busy man. There's somebody out there do it. If you don't say something, they will.
I'm pretty open. I try not to get my phone number out too much, but a lot of people have that as well. You guys have it because you have my email. So it's in my signature.
Yeah.
So whoops, what is that? Oh, that's LinkedIn. Okay. My wife was saying.
If you ever need us, you got me.
Perfect. As soon as Part 108 comes out, the NPRM on Part 108 or whatever they call it, Greg and I are going to sit down and digest it. We'll start making. Well, he probably won't, but I'll start making some.
Please, because we'd like to know. We'd like to start finding out as much as we can about the Part 108. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Even though I've got my 2-mile waiver, I still want to be able to do other stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vic, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Y'all have a great week and a great
Safe
weekend.
travels to Boston, man.
Yeah, well, that's up to the airline pilot at this point.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Vic.
All right, take it easy. All right, stay safe, everybody. All right, bye.
See you later.
Okay, I feel like really stupid to know I've been using the law for so long and
don't know that feature on it.
I didn't know that feature was on the app, and it was right there.
Lawrence, we got 21 watching, and the next show that I know of that's an actual drone show is Bill Thomas, which is Coast to Coast.
Okay,
And
well, we're not going offline. There's no one on.
well,
Hang out with us. I
and
guess we're gonna be
I
here for a
think
while.
who else is on? Vic Sloan, Jake Sloan.
Jake Sloan.
Sloan's on.
You said Vic
I don't know
Sloan.
what time.
You're
Yeah,
creating people.
my head is all messed up. Jake Sloan, but yeah, back to the
All right. Well,
the,
hold on.
the
If we're gonna stay on for a while, you mind if I go get a refill?
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. By the time you get almost through the story, I will be back.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we were talking about the Mavic 4 Pro, and where we left off was the fact that all of these posts that were coming out from not only Jasper but mainly from Igor Bogdanov, who posts a lot of stuff, and what I did want to do was get into some of the specs that was actually out there on and because
I'm back.
a lot. Oh, you're back. Okay, that was quick. A lot
Told
of
you.
stuff that Igor and Jasper and Drone XL was posting to was leading up was a lot of the stuff to the specs and the images and stuff of the drone, and and basically really the comparison between the Air 3S and the Mini 4 Pro. So that's where they were actually going with this drone, and some of the stuff that was out. And one of the things that was there was a promo photo or actually two with the drone. But one of the things that they did mention was with this drone was some of the comparisons in these drones between the Mavic 4 Pro and what we knew as far as specs is concerned, and
Yeah.
the Air 3S and
Mhm.
the Mini 4 Pro, and I wanted to put that up so you could see that. So
I wanted to get to that in this show because for those of you guys, and I said it before and I'm going to say it again, damn it, this Mavic 4 Pro, this Mavic 4 period, is not for the average drone pilot. If you got the money to get it, get it. But if you shoot in auto and don't know about shooting it
don't
manually,
waste
you might be
money.
wasting your money. Get a 3S, a Air 3, a Mini 4 Pro, or even a Mini 5 when it comes out. But DJI is making it very clear this drone is not for everyone. But these specs are pretty. I like these specs, man, on these
Mhm.
on this thing. What do you think?
I'm gonna dig a little deeper into the specs. I'm gonna read off a couple of things later on it, but this is just a comparison of how it compares up to like the Air series and the Mini 4 Pro. You know,
Yes.
the there was a lot of things that went on in the and Drone XL, like I said, as far as Drone XL and Jasper is concerned, they got in deep on the specs and the speculations and the speculations, but the specs and the stuff on this drone. And when you start getting into talking about, as we know, and this is the thing that I try to tell guys like don't get too confused in this, is because one of the things that may have changed for you a little bit was the fact that we know, as far as the main camera is concerned, is the Hasselblad's uh, CMOS 4/3 sensor, 100 megapixels in video, uh,
Right.
60 frames per second on this thing, and we also had in high HD the 4K at 120 frames per second. This is what is listed on Drone XL. We talk about the camera and the one for the what do they call it? The telephoto camera. There's
Yes.
also another CMOS as a 1/1.13 third sensor or third inch sensor. So we talking at 48 megapixels. Video with a maximum video resolution of 4K at 60 frames per second, HD at or 4K at 120 frames per second. Now I'm hoping that is the true 120 frames per second and not in a slow-mo like they did with the Mavic 3.
Can you repeat that?
What happened?
Can you repeat that?
The 120 frames per second.
Yeah.
Whereas that I'm hoping that is an actual 120 frames per second and not in only slow-mo for us.
I get what you're saying.
Like
Not in slow-mo mode.
Right. Like you remember what they did with the Osmo?
Mm-hmm.
The original Osmo that was only in 1080p, then it went to 4K, but only in a slow-mo.
Only in slow-mo, right.
In 1080p, it was only in a slow-mo in the original Osmo Pocket.
Right, which means it was probably something overclocked.
You know, if you want to refer to it as that, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on with this. Now, we had mentioned, I'm going to go a little bit out of sequence with this because we had talked, and there was a lot of speculation about the LiDAR, and we talked about how deep the obstacle avoidance was going to go with this.
Right, which means this drone can see at night now.
Now, yeah, you see what that says there?
Yes, omnidirectional obstacle detection in night landscapes with 0.1 lux brightness. Now, expect this to improve because this is the first test, Herman, I believe, honestly, of a sensor.
0.1, Lawrence, is the best you're going to get.
Really?
Yeah, that believe me.
Okay, so then that's good.
That's actually seeing better what you can actually see right now with your Mavic 3.
In the dark, right. So basically, you'd walk into a wall, and this thing would go around it laughing at you in pitch blackness.
Right.
That's great. And you know why I thought we were leading towards better night vision, Herman? You remember the modification that they made to the Mavic 3 where you could change the map mode and see the direction that the sensors were looking in?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought that they were going to add that to night vision, but now with this LiDAR, it's a plus because I've actually used that map to see at night. If I'm flying sideways, or I can see at night with that. You know what's first I'm talking about, right?
So you got omnidirectional with this.
Yes.
Up, down, left, right, around and around. Yeah.
So now it's full. This is true 360.
They've done it all with this. You know, they've done it. They've done themselves out with this.
Yeah, I agree. I really would like it, but due to reality and certain circumstances, certain situations that I will probably be going through, I need to hold off, and I need to see someone else with one and actually physically touch one in my hand, and maybe I'll be like, I need that.
Well, see, the thing that sets this drone off from being a go is that the fact that right now we're still up in the air as far as most of the time that we fly is really, you fly more recreational than I do. But
yeah.
Most of the time that is we flying is for commercial purposes.
Right.
And whenever and one of the last meetings that I had, but the topic that came in, and it's funny because I didn't realize how many companies actually are from outside of the United States that operate here in the United States.
Uh-huh.
The conversation was, we don't know whether or not DJI is going to be banned in the United States.
In the United States, correct.
Now, are you prepared to be able to
Adapt.
Right, actually, they asked these questions like, well, are you able to change over to something else that's acceptable? And a lot of these companies don't even know yet where they're going to go. Whether it's Skydio or whoever, they're going to pick up to be able to do this type of work.
I know one damn thing. I'm not using anything Skydio. I'll fly a paper plane with a camera on it before I use their ass. And I'm being honest about
So
it.
some of the conversation goes back and forth because a lot of their software is geared towards DJI.
Right.
So I don't know. That's some of the things that is in the back of my head when it comes to purchasing drones going forth. That's why when people talk about the mini drones, I'm like, I've never been a mini drone fan per se.
But they are great drones. Come on, one more like to hit 30, guys.
They are, but the thing is, when you start talking about the cost of drones, this is a drone, the Mavic 4 Pro is a drone that we're not going to be able to purchase and enjoy the way we want to enjoy a drone for less than $3,000 from what I'm looking at. Unless what I'm hoping works out, that the tariffs work out and we're able to get this for what we would like.
Yeah.
But
hold on. Ray Kelly goes, the question is, will the Mavic 4 Pro be released in the U.S. on May 13th? Whether it's released or not, it all comes down to a matter of taxes. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm sure it will be released at some time and point, but
we won't know that until release date.
Yeah.
What I always look at, and I always tell the people who come to this channel, I'm not telling you how to have fun.
Right. We never tell you not to buy a drone
I'll never
to buy
tell
a
you
drone.
not to buy a drone. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And I always talk about the drones that I will buy. And I will never tell you to go and purchase a drone that I'm not willing to purchase myself.
Exactly.
That's why you don't see me cover some of these other drones.
Femies, Procentics.
Well, if you want to get down to it, no. Because I honestly, I've never been the guy to buy every drone that comes out. I'm not a knucklehead, and I'm not. I don't have that kind of budget. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say to you is, I purchase what I like, and I'll refer that, and I'll review that, and I will tell you what I think of it. There are drones that I have received that guys ask me to do videos for them.
Yeah.
Some of them are not worth doing videos of. Some of them are drones that you have to fly indoors because they cannot be flown outside. And I keep it 100 on that.
Yeah. Now,
But as far as the Mavic 4 is concerned, if you can afford it, if it's a tariff issue, if it's not a tariff issue, get it. But from the prices that I've seen leaked, and like the prices that I've seen on Drone XL, they're not much different than the prices of the Mavic 3, but we don't know as far as the tariff implement. A lot
Hold on, Dr. Lee, DJ Lee asked the question: if you had to pick, if you had to pick only one, what would it be? Now, I want to know what do you mean if you had to pick only one? Would it be the Mavic 4 Pro or what? What are you comparing it to?
Okay. Yeah,
That-
I like to know. But what I've seen lately with a lot of the stuff with the talk about tariffs, I've seen a lot of waffling,
Listen, there are
a lot,
live
a
streams
lot
out
of,
there.
a lot of
No,
wee,
let's be
wee, wee,
honest, Herman,
wee,
since
wee,
we're doing it.
a
There
lot
are
of wee,
live
wee,
streams out
wee.
there telling you tariffs are good for the country, etc. We're not going to go there, but it's true. There are live streams telling you that. I'm not going to go into my personal opinion because this isn't my live stream. But when you have
Well,
people out there saying
you're
things like
wrong.
this, and they're supposed to be reputable people, you tend to question those individuals. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm
And
saying to you,
we're past our live stream time, so I can say whatever I want.
all I'm gonna say to you is
I'm in
this.
overtime now.
All I'm gonna say to you is this. When it comes to the Mavic 4, we can sit here and we can talk about specs and everything like that. And we've talked about a lot, and I have a lot more to talk about and a lot more to show you because we can go as far as the Fly More combo. You know, some of the stuff that guys wanted to see what's in the Fly More combo. We wanted to talk about a lot of things, but the show got kind of caught up with the creator combo.
Yeah.
When we get into talking about pricing and stuff like that, and stuff like this drone, and this is like this drone has been like, I want to say, the most talked about or the quietest kept, whichever one you want to call it. If you want to be funny, say it's the most quietest kept drone ever. But it's the most talked about drone, and I think that when you talk about the Mavic 4 Pro, I don't think you can escape the politics of it because it's been surrounded by politics. And a lot of guys say, "Oh, I don't want to
Yeah.
make political statements. I don't want to make political statements." No, I'm not. It's not really that you're making a political statement. It just so happens that this drone happens to be in a situation, in the time, and the place, and the climate where it's
Mhm.
politically involved.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And like I said, I don't
For
tell
all the
anybody.
wrong reasons.
May 13th is supposedly the release date. The May 6th is when they start talking about teasers and stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
tell any of you guys what to buy. I give my personal feelings and my opinion on stuff. Lawrence gives his.
Yeah.
You do what you want to do with your money.
We will never tell you
When
not to buy a drone. We will never tell you to buy a drone. But what we will say is do what you want.
we talk about the tariffs and stuff like that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's foolishness. There's never been a we when it comes to collecting money.
True.
Because when you go to the register, it's you and you alone. When
True.
it comes to checkout, when it comes to your cart, it's you and you alone.
You're right, though.
Think about you and your family when it comes to purchasing this drone. Do you want to pay the extra couple of $1,000s? No, you don't want to do that.
And I'm going to be honest about this, Herman. 4,500, excuse me, is a cheap payment on a cheap car.
Well, honestly, honestly, when we
If
look
you're
at
going to make the investment, like, hold on, if we made an investment in the enterprise, right? Because we saw that we could make money using this drone, and we
there was a
needed this
need for it.
drone, right? And there was a need for it. Honestly, and I mentioned this in the chat, I do not have a need for the Mavic 4 Pro when what I
Neither
have
do
can do what I can do.
I would like to do it, but
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
do
I
I
don't
need
see
to?
people using a Mavic 4 Pro, Herman, doing cell tower inspections.
Right. Now
You
watch
see
this.
my point? Yeah.
No, you're right, but watch this. When we look at the pricing, talking about what was listed, and you're talking about €2,189. You're talking about 2,495 American US dollars. That's just for the Mavic Pro,
Yeah.
the standard package. €2,899, which is
Yeah.
3,304 and whatever 86 cents for the Fly More.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the creator combo, you're talking about €3,849, which is 4,300 and what was it, 87?
So it roughly comes to about $4,600.
Right. Now, if we added on any additional tariffs to that, I would never tell you to purchase that drone. Never.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's irresponsible of me to tell you to do that.
exactly.
Now, there may be other channels
Out of
that tell
control.
you that these tariffs are helping us and we, but there's no us and we. It's me and my
Right.
family.
Right. Right. I agree with you.
And this to all of us here, while we all unite here and what we do is all in the name of a hobby. What I do,
Herman, hold on. I have to applaud you on that.
What I do with what I know as a hobby to earn a little extra money for me and my family is a plus.
Yes. Yes.
And if you can do the same, then I applaud you. But other than that, then I listen. I respect the guys that come to this channel too much to tell you to run out and buy this drone. If the tariffs is going to be kicking people in the head,
since we're being honest, Herman, you're talking about tariffs. I'm going to be blunt, just like you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel that you have to buy this drone because it's the latest and the best, by all means, go ahead and buy it.
Right.
Herman has been saying, we say this all the time. We don't encourage or discourage you from buying whatever the hell you want. And we're not just talking drones. It could be anything, a boat, freaking extension to your house. We're not going to tell you what to do with your money, but what I will tell you is how I feel or what I think I would do in certain situations. And to be honest, the Mavic 4 Pro, as much as I want it, I don't see incorporating it, the price of it with tariffs, and even without tariffs, incorporating it into my life recreationally, because that's what I'd be using it for. Because I use my Mavic 3, my Air 2S, and my FPV drones for work. And the Enterprise that we use, Herman.
And now the Enterprise more so than anything else. So those other drones have now just become recreational things.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I wanted to ask you, Lawrence, real quick?
Huh?
Do you still have that video when we spoke about the controller? You remember when they first came in with the motion controller?
Yeah, I don't have it now. I have the video. I don't have it now.
Oh,
I don't have it. I don't have it queued up. I don't have that queued up.
I forgot to mention that video because it was interesting, because I remember going way back to before the motion controller was actually a thing when it first came in.
Mm-hmm.
There was something that sparked that before that motion controller was actually a thing. And guys don't even know it.
Yep. Yeah.
You don't have that video close by.
If you can give me about 15 seconds, I could wait a minute. Hold on. No, I have the section. What do I have? What do I have here? Hold on. It's not there. Oh,
yeah, I was supposed to mention.
Are you talking about the one where we're trying to pronounce the name of it? The one that you the clip you asked me to.
Of the pilot.
The clip with Tom.
Yes, when Tom was on the stream.
Yes, yes, I have a clip, but this may not be the clip that you're looking for. But since you guys are here hanging out with us and no
If,
one's on for another 19 minutes, I
if
guess
it's
we
not
might as well be on, right?
if it's not the clip, which clip is it?
Hold on. This is what I have. I don't know if this is it.
I'm hoping it is.
Pretty sure, Tom, it's going to be the craze because
Oh
even
yeah, this
this
is it.
picture here of this controller, which is supposed to be
Flyability, fluidity. Scott, what was it? Scott Pravensky?
Yeah.
yeah
Parazinski.
Scott
Parazinski. Yes.
Parazinski, NASA astronaut and physician,
Yeah,
cardiologist.
before DJI, this was out
In
here,
fact,
guys.
it was funny because Xavier was on and we had gone back and forth on this, and he said it looked like, a Skydio's controller, and I'm like, no, it looks like Fluidity's controller. In fact, I lent
Without the
Xavier that
base.
Fluidity joystick, and now I think Big John has that joystick.
Okay.
Yeah, without the base, and this is exact. Tell me, this isn't the dream
Hey,
to have
Tim,
these goggles
Rian,
on.
welcome.
Yeah.
You
So,
know what? It's funny that this clip came about,
hey,
but
drone seekers.
before anybody ever had the motion controller, we had a guy on the channel who was an astronaut.
And surgeon.
He flew drones. He was a surgeon, and he was into the robotics. And he came up with a controller that linked to the at that time we were flying Phantoms.
Yes.
And I really believe that the problem with his controller was the link ability system. Other than that, it was a great idea.
What was the name of that system?
Fluidity from Scott Parazinski. He's a NASA pilot, and it was a one-handed motion, one-handed joystick for you to do everything. You could even take your pictures from the buttons and everything on.
Herman, I got it. Just give me a second to cue it up.
And we had that on Sunday night, I believe it was, wasn't it, originally?
Yeah. Yes, we did. I have a clip. This isn't Scott. This isn't the creator, but this was the controller that they had. It's called Fluidity. Just let me cue it up real quick. Share screen. Fluidity FT Aviator. That's what it was called.
Yep.
This is it right here. But this is not the guy, but this is it. Oh, hold on.
And that's how it worked. Now, if anybody remembers this thing,
hey everybody, Jonathan Fights here for Drone Rush. Finally
here
coming to you
on this channel, the guy who actually came up with this.
So one-handed control.
And,
go ahead.
Ken Heron actually tested this.
Made a spoof. He made a spoof video. Honestly.
Well, the problem was with this whole controller was the fact that the way it actually connected to the drone, which is why I think it had so much latency.
Yes.
And then there was another guy who had some issues with this that tried to trump everything like he does all the time, and he had a flyaway. And
no, we're gonna be honest. There is a YouTube. The views and opinions tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel and or in the chat. And I'm gonna put it on the spot. There is a YouTuber out there that you guys know as a friend. Hey Thomas, welcome back. And he was actually flying a drone, and let's just say it didn't go well, and people let him have it. I'm not going to say the people who let him have it to indicate any, get anyone in trouble. But let's make a long story short. It didn't go well. Did it?
No, it didn't.
It didn't go well.
Yeah, because I think, like I said, the problem with the FT Aviator was the way it connected to the drone.
I got it.
What happened? What do you got?
I got it. I found the FT Aviator controller, an in-depth look. I found a video for it from Fluidity Tech. situational awareness. There's a minute and 25 seconds.
Until you bring up that Sunday night with those guys when we had them on.
No, we got to search for that. We could have that next week, but we have to search for that, definitely. I just want to show this clip because we've been doing stuff. Last weekend was our 6-year anniversary, Herman. Okay. And I know, guys, hey, Stevie, what's good? How are you? Hope all is well. And like I mentioned earlier and last week, we've been doing live streams longer than a few people have been flying, 6 years. And this particular video, we had the creator of this on our live stream, Herman, like you mentioned, correct? This is the FT Aviator drone controller. And for those of you that don't know what it is, but this is where it all came from, right here. Hold on. Since we're hanging out late.
Yeah, I think we might call it that.
I'm Scott Parazinski, founder and CEO of Fluidity Technologies. We're going to be talking about the situational awareness display of the FT Aviator. Up top, we have our thumb saddle where our thumb is positioned. We apply just a light bit of pressure on top of our thumbnail. You can also release that to make it bigger as required. We also have our situational awareness display here. Backlit F indicates that we have a strong Bluetooth signal to our smartphone.
Bluetooth
we also
was
display
its
our
only
relative
flaw,
yaw,
Herman.
which is the nose of the drone, and then our position in the sky. So you'll see as I rotate the drone here to the right, it will actually move with the drone.
Yep.
And I can also move the drone in the sky, of course, and that azimuth or the red dot will slowly move. So I'll always have
and this was what we
the
keep with the
drone is
Phantom
located.
series.
This is going back to the Phantom days, yeah.
Yes. Yes. So when you guys hold
And that's the FT Aviator situational awareness display.
So this is what gave birth to the motion controller.
Yes. Yes, it did. DJI saw this, and a few other companies saw this video, and like I said, the mistake was that it was Bluetooth. The
way it appeared to
technology connected through Bluetooth, and the Phantom wasn't feeling that.
It's the way it paired to the controller.
True.
I honestly, Lawrence, I just want to, apologize to everyone tonight for the way things went. We had a whole lot.
Yeah, we went squirrel.
To talk about the Mavic 4, Pro, and a couple other things as far as public safety. I'm going to actually bring that public safety report back to you.
I wanted to do one story before we go offline, and it's got to be the DJI Phantom story.
Oh,
because there's a lot of Phantom owners out there, and we like to pride ourselves on breaking news. But
we actually can, because a lot of people did cover this because it is the end of the road, and the Phantom, DJI has announced that as far as June 1st is concerned, that it will be the end of the official support and service. Official service and support for the Mavic 4 Pro and the advanced models. As far as that is concerned, from what I've read, I don't know what they say about feet. Nice going.
What the hell? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. As far as
those of you who don't know, Herman's apartment is haunted.
As far as V2 service is concerned,
yeah.
I don't know how much that is affected. But as far as that's concerned,
the original Phantom 4, they did not say V2, and it's great that you mentioned that, because this means they're stopping support on a Phantom 4 Pro and Advanced. They did not say V2, so I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had wanted to bring it up and actually forgot.
Yeah, I don't know as far as the V2 is concerned, but as far as the regular Phantom 4 Pro and the Advanced, that is going to be stopped. That's not saying that you can't fly it. It's not going to fall out the sky. You'll still be able to fly it.
You just can't get service and repairs. There will be no more upgrades. There will be no more upgrades and repairs.
That's
DJI does it.
But other than that, everything else still the same.
Listen, they know everyone who flies DJI knows how DJI is. When they end something, that means you can't go to the DJI website and download any more
Well, you
files.
can't call them and get any support or
Yeah,
any service on the drone as far as being able to send it in to get parts and services. As far as now, if you smash up your camera,
yeah,
now what you should start doing is looking out there for if there's any parts or anything that you can purchase.
yes, for
Maybe you can, get work done outside of that if you have a
correct. But Herman,
local place.
we have to mention this is only for the DJI Phantom 4 Pro and the DJI Phantom 4 Advanced. They did not say DJI Phantom 4 V2.
Right. I don't know. I didn't see that
There is
in
a
the article.
difference. There is a
Right.
difference. There is a difference because my first Phantom 4 Pro was the Phantom 4 Pro Standard, and then I wind up getting the Phantom 4 Pro as a second drone.
Well,
So
if you guys check it out in what's that, Drone DJ? They have an article in Drone DJ
yes.
that lays out everything, even the
Wait
history.
a minute, hold on. Let me put the link in the
Going
chat so
back
people
to
can talk about it on their
2016.
live streams.
Yes, to going back to 2016, and how, the DJI dropped the Phantom 4 and like 8 months later they dropped the Phantom 4 Pro,
Mm-hmm.
which, honestly, this is a legendary drone. And honestly, I say that we talk about drone marvels. This drone is probably like one of the biggest drone marvels ever because
This is their legacy drone. When you see
never
a picture
ever.
of a drone, this cookie cutter shape, Herman, everyone knows that that is a drone.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but this is the first time ever that a drone actually had a 1-inch sensor,
A mechanical aperture.
five directional,
Mm-hmm.
you know, five
Obstacle
directional,
avoidance.
obstacle avoidance, a 1-inch sensor. I mentioned that. A 1-inch CMOS mechanical shutter on this 1-inch CMOS sensor with a mechanical shutter on this drone. So you can actually use this drone to not only map, you can use this drone for cinematic footage. This was an enterprise drone and a prosumer drone in one.
Yep.
So after this drone, DJI realized they can piecemeal this drone and create 2 drones.
Yep. And that's when they started giving us
Ever since then, you started to see the enterprise, and you saw the consumer drone.
Yeah.
So yeah. With that being said, Lawrence, it's about that time to get out of there because I
It
know
is that time. Yo, dude.
Want to start
I
doing
got
other things.
munchies.
Yeah, it's dinner time. It's not the month. Oh wow, it's
Yes. Yes, man. And I gotta be at the doctor's office. First
time to get there.
first patient in the morning.
You want to say anything to the nice people who are still here?
Listen, we appreciate you all. Thank you for coming to our live stream. Please keep coming back because you just might learn something you didn't know. I've been using the Aloft app since it's been Aloft, and I learned something tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you're never too old to learn something. Be safe, fly safer. It's time to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. With that being said, and we'll see you next time with those guys. Good night, everyone.